Habeas corpus petition against UML Chair Oli up for hearing tomorrow. Debate concludes, court yet to decide. Former Energy Minister Deepak Kharka arrested in money laundering case. CIB confirms ongoing investigation into alleged financial crimes. RSP President Rabi Lamichhane's next hearing set for April 27. Investigation and trial ongoing for embezzlement charges. Pakistan hosts Saudi, Turkey and Egypt foreign ministers in Islamabad. Talks aim to de-escalate Middle East war. Mass protests erupt across US against Trump administration. Third iteration of No Kings rallies draws millions nationwide. And boxer Abhiral Ghimire, known as Himalayan Cheetah, sets world record in K1 Cross 188 Kickboxing Championship. Good evening, I'm Vijata Bhandari and this is NTV World Primetime News. We're coming to you live from Kathmandu at 1900 hours Nepal time. Elsewhere it's 13:15 in London, 22:15 in Tokyo and just after midnight in Sydney. Now the news in detail. A habeas corpus petition filed by UML chairman and Nepal's former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli is scheduled to be heard by the court on Monday. The petition filed by his wife Radhika Shakya challenges his arrest and detention, arguing they are unlawful and based on recommendations from the Commission of Inquiry report. Oli was taken into custody on Saturday from his residence following allegations related to the suppression of the Gen Z movement. Oli is currently receiving treatment at the Tribhuvan University Teaching Hospital after being admitted on March 27 due to heart-related complications. Hospital officials say Oli will remain under medical supervision for 24 hours as legal proceedings continue. Police in Kathmandu have urged for a 10-day extension of remand for former Prime Minister and former Home Minister of Nepal KP Sharma Oli and Ramesh Lekhak as investigations into the case continue. According to the District Government Attorney's Office, both Oli and Lekhak have been presented before the court seeking approval for the extension. A hearing on the request held in the bench of District Court Judge Ananda Prasad Shrestha has concluded, but the court has yet to issue its decision. Oli appeared via video conference from Tribhuvan University Teaching Hospital, where he is undergoing treatment, while Lekhak was presented from police custody. Lawyers from both sides presented their arguments as authorities noted that under the law, an arrested individual cannot be held for more than 24 hours without court authorization. Meanwhile, the government has officially launched an expansive 100-point action plan, marking a significant move towards governance reform with strictly allotted timelines for its most critical reforms. This wide-ranging roadmap aims to modernize the state apparatus through digital integration and enhanced accountability. While the plan is being hailed as a bold vision for a new governance era, analysts are closely observing how these ambitious targets will navigate long-standing systemic and structural hurdles. Sabika Shrestha brings you an insight.
The government's 100-item reform agenda has officially shifted into high gear, establishing a clear results-based framework for public administration. By assigning specific time-bound targets to each major action point, the administration aims to replace traditional bureaucratic lag with a culture of immediate delivery.
Very recently, the government have introduced with 100 points the reform agenda. Seems very positive. If we introduce the digital dashboard or digital service delivery system, definitely the corruption will be reduced. The middle person will be discouraged. It means the faceless bureaucracy will introduce. Basically, for this purpose, we have to look at the internet access services to all the Nepalese people. Till our data will show about 75% of the population have the internet service. The remaining people doesn't have the service. Thus, we should reduce the price cost of the internet service. On the other hand, all citizens should have a knowledge, digital literacy to cope the government public service delivery.
At the forefront of this tiered timeline is a 100-day commitment to revolutionize document processing. The plan mandates that essential services, including passports, citizenship certificates, and driving licenses, transition to a home delivery model within the initial window. The reform approved by the Cabinet aims to eliminate middlemen and reduce the need for repeated visits to government offices. To meet these deadlines, the national postal system is undergoing a strategic evolution into a specialized government-operated courier service.
Largely our people, normal people, the ordinary citizens, they aren't very familiar with the digitized system. Thus, maybe there is some lacuna, there is a between gap between the government aspiration as well as the ordinary citizens' efficiency to comply with the digitization system. Thus, if government will introduce the digital literacy program to the people at large through the municipality, through the ward system, or government will introduce some cyber center in all the small village and towns, probably we can cope within a few years. But in the first day, probably all people cannot comply with the digitization system.
This logistical pivot is designed to ensure that official documents are not only processed but delivered in a faceless and trackable manner, aligning with modern governance standards. The reform package also includes wider digital integration. Citizens will be able to apply for services such as passports, police reports, and driving licenses online, primarily through mobile platforms like the Nagarik app within a 45-day implementation window. Additionally, documents like citizenship certificates and passports will be accessible from any district administration office, removing geographic barriers that have long burdened service seekers. For years, citizens have complained about delays, inefficiency, and reliance on intermediaries in accessing basic services. Studies on Nepal's public service delivery point to systemic issues such as bureaucratic inefficiency, weak implementation, and poor service behavior as major obstacles.
त्यो नीति चाहिँ राम्रो हो लागू गर्न चाहिँ अलि प्रभावकारी हुन्छ कि हुन्न त्यो चाहिँ अब हेरौं कस्तो हुन्छ सरकारी कामहरु एक त यसै ढिला हुन्छ एक नम्बर कोठाबाट 6 नम्बरमा जाऊ 6 नम्बरबाट 10 नम्बरमा जाऊ सारै झ्या हुन्छ त्यो भन्दा अब यो नीति चाहिँ राम्रो हो लागू गर्न चाहिँ कसरी कतिको सक्छ भन्ने कुरा हो.
The government's push to digitize services and introduce home delivery appears to directly respond to these grievances. By reducing the need for physical interaction and standardizing timelines, the government hopes to foster a more efficient and user-friendly environment. While the goals are undeniably high, the success of the 100-point plan will serve as a litmus test for the state's capacity for rapid transformation. As the countdown begins, all eyes are on the bureaucracy to see if it can rise to meet this ambitious new standard of governance. Sabika Shrestha with camera person Anup Khimire reporting for NTV World.
Nepal's Minister for Energy, Water Resources and Irrigation, Biraj Bhakta Shrestha, has called for more citizen-focused and efficient service delivery across the ministry. Speaking to top ministry officials, Minister Shrestha emphasized the need for transparency, accountability, and a results-driven work culture. Minister Shrestha urged employees to approach their responsibilities with full commitment, honesty, and high morale, while strengthening coordination and discipline within the ministry. Highlighting the importance of collective progress, Minister Shrestha stressed that all stakeholders should work together to achieve self-reliance in Nepal's energy sector. Shrestha further pledged to turn upcoming challenges into opportunities and enhance overall ministry efficiency by ensuring effective coordination between policy, planning and implementation. Former Energy Minister and senior Nepali Congress leader Deepak Khadka has been arrested by Nepal's Central Investigation Bureau or CIB. CIB Chief Additional Inspector General AIG of Police Dr. Manoj Kesi confirmed that Khadka is in custody as part of an ongoing investigation into allegations of money laundering. Police officials have stated that preparations are underway to record Kharka's statement as authorities continue to probe the case. CPN-UML has submitted memorandums across all 77 district administration offices demanding the release of party chairman and former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli. In Kathmandu, the memorandum was handed to Chief District Officer Ishwar Raj Boudal. The move follows Oli's arrest from his residence on Saturday based on allegations of wrongdoing highlighted by the Gauri Bahadur Karki Commission. Party leaders and members also staged sit-ins and organized processions with slogans in Lalitpur and Kathmandu as a form of protest. The party secretariat had earlier decided to submit these memorandums nationwide to press for Oli's immediate release. Time for a short break now. We shall be back with more updates. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World Primetime News. Now, the next hearing for Rashtriya Swatantra Party RSP President Rabi Lamichhane has been scheduled for April 27 at the Kathmandu District Court. Lamichhane is facing allegations of embezzlement in the Swarna Lakshmi cooperative fraud case in Kalimati, Kathmandu. The case, filed on January 5, 2025, involves 93 complaints from 690 savers of the cooperative, with a total of 39 defendants named. Court officials have been setting regular dates as the investigation and trial proceed. The upcoming hearing will continue the legal proceedings against Lamichhane. Nepal's stock market opened the week on a weak note, with the NEPSE index dropping by 71.05 points to close at 2,879.11, its first trading session following the formation of the new government. Shares across all sectors declined, with the finance sector falling 3.37% and the investment sector down nearly 3%. Other key sectors, including banking, development banks, hotels and tourism, hydropower, insurance, microfinance and trade, recorded losses of over 2%. Out of the 333 companies traded, 255 saw their share prices fall, 10 gained and 1, Siddhartha Premier Insurance, remained unchanged. Despite the decline, trading activity rose, with a total of 35.2 million shares valued at 15.3 billion Nepali rupees, changing hands compared to 13.16 billion traded last Thursday. Farmers in Pashthar, Eastern Nepal, have been honored for achieving high paddy yields using traditional ox-plow methods while promoting indigenous agricultural practices. The Falgunanda Rural Municipality recognized 58 farmers with cash incentives as part of efforts to prevent land from lying fallow and maximize the use of fertile soil. This year, Dipsan Chemjong emerged as the top producer, harvesting an impressive 157 kgs of rice. Farmers producing more than 68 kg received 50,000 Nepali rupees each, while those producing over 34 kg were awarded 30,000 rupees. The initiative has motivated local farmers, creating healthy competition, boosting agricultural output, and highlighting the value of traditional farming methods in the region. Gulmi Hospital in Western Nepal has successfully performed its first breast cancer surgery, marking a milestone for healthcare in the region. The complex operation was carried out despite limited resources, with the support of a visiting medical team from Lumbini Provincial Hospital, led by cancer specialist Dr. Sanjay Pandey. The patient, 71-year-old Tulsi Bishwakarma from Resunga municipality, expressed gratitude for receiving treatment locally, as travelling outside the district was not feasible. The hospital regularly hosts specialist doctors on a monthly basis, allowing patients with complex conditions to access advanced care. Officials said the achievement highlights that early detection and timely treatment make cancer manageable, providing much-needed relief to the patients, especially those from economically disadvantaged backgrounds. A short break before we check out the international updates. Top diplomats from Saudi Arabia, Egypt and Turkey have gathered in Islamabad for two-day talks with their Pakistani counterpart on the US-Israel war on Iran, seeking to de-escalate the conflict. The meetings held on Sunday and Monday are being led by Pakistani Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar, who announced late Saturday that Iran had agreed to allow 20 more ships under the Pakistani flag, equivalent to 2 ships per day, to pass safely through the Strait of Hormuz. Officials say the talks are intended to strengthen regional cooperation, ensure safe maritime trade, and explore diplomatic measures that could reduce tensions amid concerns that the conflict could disrupt global oil supplies and regional security. Pakistani diplomats are emphasizing their role as a neutral mediator to facilitate dialogue between key Middle Eastern powers. Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf says his country's forces are waiting for American soldiers to enter on the ground so they can rain fire upon them. His comments follow the U.S. announcement that about 3,500 personnel have arrived in the region with the warship USS Tripoli. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Friday that the U.S. could achieve its goals in Iran without any ground troops. Meanwhile, strikes continue across the Middle East, with Israel saying it has targeted temporary command centers in Tehran. Major infrastructure in Gulf countries is under attack. Emirates Global Aluminium says its main plant in Abu Dhabi has been significantly damaged. Yemen's Houthi rebels launched missile strikes towards Israel on Saturday. The Iran-backed group says there will be more attacks. Qatari news channel Al Arabi has reported that an Israeli missile has hit the building housing its office in Tehran, causing damage to the network, reported blaming Israel for the attack. The strike caused significant damage to the office, forcing an immediate halt to live broadcast, according to the channel. Footage released from inside the premises showed shattered windows, broken glass and debris scattered across workspaces. Images from outside the building indicated damage to nearby structures, with surrounding streets littered with debris. There were no immediate reports of casualties. The reported strike comes amid escalating military exchanges between Israel and Iran, with Tehran facing repeated bombardment as a part of a broader regional conflict involving multiple actors. Large protests against the Trump administration have taken place in cities across the U.S., marking the third iteration of No Kings rallies that have previously drawn crowds into the millions. Organizers say they are protesting against policies imposed by U.S. President Donald Trump, including the war in Iran, federal immigration enforcement, and the rising cost of living. Demonstrations took place in nearly every major U.S. city, including New York, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Boston, Nashville, and Houston. Crowds also gathered in smaller cities and towns across the country. The last No Kings rally in October drew crowds of nearly 7 million people nationally. Several U.S. states mobilized the National Guard, but organizers have maintained that the events are peaceful. Trade ministers are close to agreeing on a reform plan for the World Trade Organization as wrangling continues over extending a moratorium on custom duties for electronic transmissions such as digital downloads. The talks at WTO meeting in Cameroon include efforts to bridge differences between the US and India over extending the e-commerce moratorium, which is due to expire this month. Extending the moratorium, first adopted in 1998 as part of a declaration to encourage early digital trade growth, is seen as a test for the WTO's relevance following a year of tariff-fueled trade turmoil and major disruptions due to the Iran war. The reform debate comes amid efforts to rework WTO rules to render subsidy use more transparent and make decision-taking easier. The US and EU argue that China in particular has taken advantage of current rules to their detriment. More from the international front when we come back after this short breather. Around 750 people were evacuated from a nightclub in Kehl, a German town on the border with France, after a fire broke out in the early hours of Sunday. Authorities said several patrons required assistance from paramedics, but no fatalities have been reported so far. Emergency services responded swiftly to contain the place, and the nightclub was cleared without major injuries. The cause of the fire remains under investigation, with local officials urging caution until the full circumstances are determined. High hopes are rising at China's border city of Dandong as daily passenger train services to North Korea resumed this month, ending a 6-year halt caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The trains mark a first step toward restoring cross-border travel, which was a major route for North Korea's foreign visitors before the pandemic. Despite the resumption, Pyongyang's strict visa policies continue to limit access. Only travelers with official business or special purposes are currently allowed entry, leaving ordinary tourists largely unable to visit the reclusive nation. For many, the train services signal a tentative reopening, but North Korea's tightly controlled borders mean widespread tourism remains unlikely in the near term. Thousands of great cranes, a species under second-class state protection in China, have recently arrived at the Tiesegai wetland in Dulan County, northwest of Qinghai province. The site is a critical stopover on their northward migration, providing food and rest along the journey. Each March, the wetland serves as an energy station for the birds, providing food and rest during their month-long migration season. This year, more than 10,000 cranes have been recorded at the site. At the wetland, the birds are often seen feeding or performing courtship dances. Once paired, they typically remain lifelong partners. The grey crane stands up to 125 centimeters tall with a wingspan reaching 2 meters and is known for the long leg, neck and beak. Officials say the crane's return highlights the importance of wetland protection in sustaining biodiversity and ensuring that migratory species continue to thrive. Apple Inc.'s 50th anniversary celebrations are underway, showcasing 5 decades of innovation with flagship products including the iPhone and the MacBook. The milestone comes as the company reports more than 3.1 billion iPhones sold and maintains a record market valuation, reinforcing its dominance in the global technology sector. The company's ecosystem of devices and services continues to drive strong global demand and customer loyalty. The anniversary also coincides with rising pressure from rapid advances in artificial intelligence as the Silicon Valley giant faces growing expectations to deliver its next breakthrough innovation. It is said Apple's next phase will depend on how effectively it integrates AI across its products and services. Time now for sports update. Boxer Abiral Khimiri has clinched the title of the K1 Cross 188 Kickboxing Championship. Famous worldwide in the boxing field as the Himalayan cheetah, he first became the first Nepali athlete to set a new world record by winning the K1 Cross title twice. In the championship held in Tokyo, Japan on Saturday, the Himalayan cheetah defeated Japan's competitor Riku in the knockout stage to defend the title belt for the second time. The K1 Cross 188 Kickboxing Championship is considered the topmost competition in boxing. According to information provided by Himalayan cheetah's father and boxer Dev Khimiri, Abiral successfully knocked out the Japanese player Riku in the second minute of the third round of the competition. He is the first Nepali boxer to win 19 out of 25 international competitions so far, securing victory in 18 of them in knockout. He has also made history as the first Nepali boxer to achieve such titles. Gianni Infantino, president of FIFA, attended the opening of a football history exhibition in Mexico City, celebrating the sport's rich heritage and global impact. During his inauguration speech, Infantino paid tribute to players of the 1971 Women's World Cup, a tournament that FIFA never officially recognized as it was not involved in organizing the event. He highlighted the contributions of these pioneering athletes in advancing women's football and emphasized the importance of preserving the history of the sport for the future generations. The exhibition features rare memorabilia, photographs, and historical artifacts spanning the evolution of football, aiming to educate fans and honor both celebrated and overlooked figures in the game's history. Infantino called on attendees to continue supporting the growth of football at all levels, particularly women's football, as the sport continues to expand globally. And before we sign out, here are the reminder of our top stories. Habeas corpus petition against UML Chair Oli up for hearing tomorrow. Debate concludes. Court yet to decide. Former Energy Minister Deepak Kharka arrested in money laundering case. CIB confirms ongoing investigation into alleged financial crimes. RSP President Rabi Lamikhane's next hearing set for April 27. Investigation and trial ongoing for embezzlement charges. Pakistan hosts Saudi, Turkey and Egypt foreign ministers in Islamabad. Talks aim to de-escalate Middle East war. Mass protests erupt across US against the Trump administration. Third iteration of No Kings rallies draws millions nationwide. And boxer Abiral Khimiri, known as Himalaya Cheetah, sets world record in K1 Cross 188 Kickboxing Championship. That's it for this edition of Primetime News. Our next bulletin will be at 2200 hours Nepal time. Meanwhile, do join us for our social media and get the latest updates from our official website at nepaltelevision.com. Thank you for staying with us. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu. Public Service Broadcasting PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World, facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World.
Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering the timeless Nepal.
Telling stories that endure across centuries. Where culture breathes, stories bloom.
When the world moves, we make a sense of it.
NTV World. Taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells the story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands. Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
One story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices, where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by. Mic is on.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
Music, dance, food, art and devotion are the lifeblood of Newar culture, an ancient civilization rooted in the Kathmandu Valley of Nepal. With lively festivals nearly every fortnight, the Newars celebrate life through a rich tapestry of traditions known as Jatra.
Welcome to another episode of The Hinterlands on NTV World. This weekly show brings together stories from the hinterlands of Nepal, takes you beyond the cities and highways into the heart of Nepal's rural landscapes. I am Rosina Rai and we will be leading you into this journey every week. We begin in Okhaldhunga's historic Toksar area, once a thriving center for coin minting in eastern Nepal. Today, this site of rich heritage stands in a state of neglect. The remnants of stone frames used in coin production, traces of copper processing, and scattered old coins quietly reflects a legacy that awaits preservation and recognition.
यो डोली पैसा यस्तो डोली पैसा काट्थे अरे पहिला काटिन्थ्यो अरे यस्तो ढुङ्गा यो पन्नेको नार जस्तो पैसा अहिले देखाइमा यस्तै छ यो टक काट्ने ठाउँमा यहाँनिर यस्तो पैसा काट्थे अरे टक काटेर भन्छन् डोली पैसा पनि अरे नाम पनि टक्सर रहेको.
The Toksar area, traditional facility of minting coins in eastern Nepal's Okhaldhunga district, stand as a silent witness to the nation's rich history of copper coin production. However, this historically significant site has long been neglected. 4 years ago, the local government constructed a protective wall to support preservation efforts. Since then, no further conservation or construction work has been carried out. Despite its clear historical and archaeological importance, meaningful preservation initiatives have largely stalled. Once a thriving hub where raw copper was carefully transformed into doli paisa or coins, Toksar now awaits proper protection and restoration. Stone frames once used for shaping coins still remain, while processed copper on the ground serve as enduring traces of a craft that once sustained entire generations. According to locals, copper extracted from Jantar Khani was transported to Toksar, where it was fashioned into four-sided flat coins.
डोली पैसा काटेको कहीँ के भेटिन्छ देखिन्छ त्यो पाइयो त्यहाँदेखि गएर चाहिँ यो पत्र बाटाका छेउनेरि त्यो पैसा काटेको ली भन्थे के अरे किट भन्थे त्यो किट पाइएको अनि त्यहाँदेखि आएर चाहिँ यो ढुङ्गाहरू पनि मजाले खोपेर बनाएको र कुनै यसो पैसाको आकारका चाहिँ ढुङ्गा पनि बनाएकाले त्यही चाहिँ देखियो अहिले हाल.
Over time, the site evolved into a well-organized industrial center, maintaining strong trade connections with Kolkata, Darjeeling, Siliguri, and Bhutan. It functioned as a key hub for both mining and artisanal production. Even today, some of these coins are preserved by elderly villagers, offering a tangible link to the past. Preserving Toksar is not merely about protecting stones and metal. It is more about honoring the skills, labor, and legacy of the generations who contributed to Nepal's cultural and economic heritage. Without immediate action, the remaining artifacts and evidence of this once vibrant craft are at risk of disappearing forever. From heritage to hospitality now, we move to Dhankota district, eastern part of Nepal, where a unique cultural experience is taking shape. The At Paharia Community Homestay offers visitors more than just a place to stay. It offers a chance to live and connect with tradition, cuisine, and local life. A unique cultural destination nestled in the rural landscape of Dhankota, Nepal, where visitors do more than just stay. They immerse themselves in the deeply rooted lifestyle of eastern Nepal. In recent years, the community homestay operated by the At Paharia community in Saule Sipting has emerged as a hub for culture, traditional cuisine, and sustainable tourism. Currently managed through the active involvement of 5 households, the homestay plays a vital role in preserving the identity and heritage of At Paharia people while promoting local tourism. Guests are served locally grown rice, lentils, and vegetables along with distinctive traditional dishes such as wachipa, dule achar, pico, selroti, the traditional drink called tongba, and radish pico. Special festive delicacies during Wadang meat, combined with pork, local alcohol, and seasonal harvest, further enrich the cultural experience. Beyond cuisine, the local way of life itself. Beyond cuisine, the local way of life serves as a major attraction for the visitors there. Visitors can actively participate in traditional practices such as making leaf plates called duna topari, weaving mat or gundri, and crafting household items from natural materials. These hands-on activities add a meaningful and memorable dimension to the visit.
सेवा सुविधाहरू भनेको त्यस्तै हो, खानापिना लोकल खाने कुराहरू र दोस्रो कुरा अब हाम्रो सिजन अनुसारको फलफुल टिपेर खाने पनि उयो छ, राखेका छौँ कार्यक्रमहरू र अनि चायमा हाम्रो सांस्कृतिक कार्यक्रमहरू देखाउन पाइन्छ र अनि हाम्रो अवलोकनको लागिलाई यो गुन्द्री पिर्का पातको टपरा दुना यस्तै खालकोहरू हेर्न गर्न सम्म पाइन्छ.
The homestay has already welcomed over 100 visitors from countries including the UK, the Netherlands, Australia, and India. Adding to its charm, guests may also have the opportunity, depending on the season, to pick and enjoy fresh oranges and avocados directly from the garden. Blending tradition, authentic flavors, and heartfelt hospitality, the At Paharia homestay in Thankuta is steadily emerging as a promising destination for both domestic and international travelers. Next, we turn to Jhapa district, where one of Nepal's smallest indigenous group continues to struggle for its fight. Despite constitutional guarantees of inclusion and social justice, the Kisan community still faces challenges in recognition, access, and dignity. The Kisan community, an endangered indigenous group concentrated in Jhapa district, remains on the margins of Nepal's development story. Despite constitutional safeguards, many still lack the most basic form of recognition, official documentation. With a population of just over 1,400, generations of Kisan families have remained unregistered in government records. Without citizenship and formal identification, access to education, healthcare, and social security remains severely limited. Government policy does provide a monthly social security allowance of 4,000 rupees to endangered and marginalized communities, including the Kisan. But community members say financial support alone cannot address deeper structural challenges. Education gaps, limited healthcare access, poor infrastructure, and lack of land rights continue to define everyday life. For many, social inclusion remains more promises than the reality.
वंशजको नागरिकता पाउनु पर्ने पहिलादेखि बसेको किसान जाति उहाँ कतिको अहिले के अरे जन्मसिद्ध नागरिकता छ हैन त्यो जन्मसिद्ध नागरिकको छोराछोरीले उनीहरु चाहिँ अहिले भत्ताबाट वञ्चित छन् के उनीहरुसँग नागरिकता छैन नि त हैन त्यो एउटा समस्या भयो हैन अब अरु समस्या त त्यही हो बेरोजगारीको समस्या छ हैन.
In the 21st century, the Kisan community still finds itself left behind, caught between constitutional assurance and lived exclusion. As Nepal pushes forward on its development goals, questions remain over who is being left behind. For the Kisan community, the struggle is not just about survival, but about being seen, heard, and included. And finally, we look at the impact of recent adverse weather across the country. Even before the monsoon season, rain, windstorms and snowfall have disrupted transportations and key road sections across the country. The downy stretch of the east-west highway has been particularly affected, with mudslides halting traffic completely. A report.
हामी त यहाँ जाम परेर यहाँ 4 घण्टा भइसक्यो यहाँ बसेको यहाँ भात पनि खान पाइएन
यो जङ्गलमा यस्तोमा बसिए हेर्नुस्
11 बजेदेखि अहिले 1 बजी भन्छन् अनि खान पाछैन
With the recent windstorm and pre-monsoon rainfall in Nepal, the under-construction Downy Road under the Narayankot Butol section was severely disrupted. The transport services were reopened Sunday afternoon after 2 days of disruption. However, concerns are rising as the country has yet to enter the full monsoon season, and even brief showers make travel risky on various routes across the country. Unlike last year, commuters now face dangerous conditions along damaged roads. Light rainfall quickly turns the road muddy and slippery, often leading to blockages. While most of the Narayankot-Butol route remains relatively smooth, the Downy section continues to be particularly difficult to navigate. According to the District Traffic Police Office, the Downy section has been obstructed 37 times so far in the current fiscal year, causing travelers to India prolonged traffic congestion. Despite 7 years having passed since the road expansion project began, crossing this section remains a challenge. Passengers report that traveling the 14-kilometer streets can take several hours due to persistent traffic jam. The Downy section, previously a 2-lane road, is currently being upgraded to 3 lanes.
पछिल्लो समयदेखि हामीले यो समस्या भोग्दै आइरहेका छौं यो वर्ष अन्तिम समस्या हुन सक्छ यो पानी परिसकेपछि यहाँको समस्या के भयो भने जस्तो 3 लेन मात्रै यो डिजाइनमा बनाउनु पर्ने छ 3 लेन भनेको 12 मिटर चौडाइको हाराहारीमा हुन्छ त्यसलाई आधामा काम गरेर आधामा गाडी चलाउनु पर्ने अर्थात 6 मिटरमा काम गर्ने 6 मिटर भन्दा कम भागमा चाहिँ गाडी चलाउनु पर्ने कारणले गर्दा दोहोरो गाडी हिँडाउन चाहिँ अलिकति समस्या भइरहेको
Of the 40 kilometers in this section, 4 kilometers fall in the eastern portion, where around 800 meters of concrete paving work is still pending. Since construction started in 2018, the project has achieved 81% physical progress. The China State Engineering Corporation is failing to complete the work within the agreed deadline, resulting in 4 deadline extension. Beyond the cities and the headlines, real lives continue to unfold. Stories shaped by struggle, strengthened by resilience, and carried forward by hope. This is the Hinterlands, and we will be back next week with more stories from the heart of Nepal. Do follow us on our website, nepaltelevision.com, social media handles, and our YouTube channel also. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye for now.
म बालेन्द्र शाह नेपालको सार्वभौम सत्ता र राजकीय सत्ता
March 2026 will be recalled in Nepal's political history forever. For decades, the halls of Singhadarbar were a revolving door for the same new faces. But today, the old guard has been dismantled. With a near 2/3 majority, Rashtriya Swatantra Party (RSP) has swept the nation. At the center of this political tsunami is a 35-year-old structural engineer and rapper. A man who did not just win an election, but led a revolution of the youth. Born in 1990 to a Maithili-speaking family, Balendra Shah's roots trace back to Mahattari, but his life was forged on the streets of Kathmandu. To the older generation, Balen was just an engineer with a master's in structural engineering. But to the youth, he was Balen, a king of the Nepal scene. Unlike traditional politicians who spent years in underground party cadres, Balen built his followers through social media and music. His lyrics were not just about rhythm, they were rebellion against the decay of the system. Balen's engineering background gave him the aura of a problem solver, while his rap persona gave him the cool factor. It was the perfect hybrid for a frustrated electorate. In 2022, Balen shocked the world by winning federal capital Kathmandu's mayorship as an independent candidate. This was his laboratory. He did not just talk about change, he brought out the bulldozers literally. Restoration of heritage sites, digitizing municipal services, and clearing the city's footpaths were some of the visible changes that Balen the mayor brought. Critics called him populist and authoritarian for his aggressive demolition drives and his defiant stance against the central government. By 2025, it was clear that the mayor's chair was too small for Balen's ambitions. The Balen effect had outgrown the valley. Late 2025 saw Nepal's Gen Z revolution. Fueled by economic stagnation and corruption scandals, the youth took to the streets.
We are here to question where our tax money went. As simple as that.
When the dust settled, an interim government under former Chief Justice Susila Karki was formed, and early elections were called for March 2026.
कसैको प्रति म आक्षेप पनि लाउँदिन। मेरो कृपया यति अनुरोध छ, सबै निर्वाचनमा आइदिनुस्। सबै कुरोको रिस पोख्दा पोख्दै मुलुकै गुमाउने काम चाहिँ हामी नगरौँ। हामी छलफलमा छौँ, अझै पनि हामीसँग समय छ। अहिले जो 2-2.5 महिना बाँकी छ भने त्यो त लाख टाइम हो हामीसँग। त्यसलाई घण्टामा गर्नुस्, हामी घण्टामा काम गरिरहेछौँ भने।
Balin took the ultimate gamble. He joined the Rashtriya Swatantra Party, took the leadership mantle and headed to Jhapa 5, the home ground of former Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oli. The results were a bloodbath to the established parties. Balin did not just win, he decimated the competition, securing a mandate for change that Nepal hasn't seen in decades.
बालेन्द्र शाह
नेपालको सार्वभौम सत्ता र राजकीय सत्ता
नेपालको सार्वभौम सत्ता र राजकीय सत्ता
नेपाली जनतामा निहित रहेको नेपालको संविधान प्रति पूर्ण वफादार रही सत्यनिष्ठापूर्वक प्रतिज्ञा गर्दै ईश्वर देश र जनताको नाममा शपथ लिन्छु कि प्रधानमन्त्री पदको जिम्मेवारी ईमानदारीका साथ गर्नेछु।
What does a Balin Shah premiership look like? His platform is likely to be built on 3 pillars: replacing political appointees with subject matter experts, reducing the brain drain by creating tech hubs and revitalizing local agriculture, and moving away from being a buffer state to becoming a bridge between India and China. Balin, the Prime Minister, will have no luxury over a prolonged honeymoon period. The rapper turned politician inherits an economy in flux and a bureaucracy that is resistant to change. Balin's biggest challenge isn't going to be the opposition. It's the massive weight of expectation of over 30 million people and the overwhelming majority that his party has received. As the rapper who once rhymed about the struggles of the street takes the oath to lead the nation, the signature sunglasses may stay on, but the entire world is watching with clear eyes. Balin Shah is no longer just a mayor or a musician. He is the Prime Minister. And for Nepal, the music had just started.
बालेन्द्र शाह नेपालको सार्वभौम सत्ता र राजकीय सत्ता
Nepal's March 5 parliament elections reshuffled the deck and it brought in a new generation to the legislative table. Today, the House of Representatives is younger, more educated in many senses and facing a mandate for immediate economic delivery rather than ideological rhetoric. In between this historic transition, a few distinct voices have emerged from the traditional parties, bridging the gap between legacy politics and the new technocratic era. But in between this change as well, a few young leaders from legacy parties have managed to survive the tide and win on their own merit. Our guest tonight is a researcher, a scholar of economics, and the man who brought Nepali Congress back to Ilam constituency 1 after nearly 3 decades. Honorable Member of Parliament, Niskal Rai. Welcome to NTV World Insight.
Thank you very much.
Well, first of all, congratulations for the success in your constituency.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
How are you feeling?
I'm happy enough, but also, on the other hand, I'm feeling myself more responsible.
You managed a feat that Nepali Congress had not been able to achieve in about 26 years, right?
Yeah.
And your win also comes at a time when RSP almost swept the whole election. How do you think you managed to attain that feat, and what do you think the voters liked more about you when they were choosing elsewhere other parties?
Firstly, I'm very much thankful for the respected voters of Ilam constituency 1. So they have selected me as their parliamentarian. So though the country was facing the wave of RSP, but Ilam 1 did not touch on it, because Ilam 1, the citizens of Ilam is much more educated. And what we did is that we made our team work much more stronger than previous, and also we settled different things on our party. And also we made a consent on our local party level, and we approached us more and more to the households there. So we convinced them. We also talked about the youth generations, and we also talked about the MP, that what they need is that they also need the accountability and also the culture of politics. So I conveyed them that I'll be much more culture and I'll be much more responsible for that. So probably
that worked on your favor.
That worked on my favor.
You are only one of the 18 parliamentarians from Nepali Congress that won through direct election. What is your assessment of why your party faced its worst ever defeat in recent years?
The first thing is that our party stayed in status quo. We could not change the party untimely. And also what we did is we made our convention, special convention, but we could not deliver the message throughout the people of our country, the citizens of our country. So that means we did not make party more innovative, more responsiveness, and also we did not work on internal reforms. So I think that was the main reason that this time the people in charge of the country, they gives us a mandate to stay in opposition, strong opposition.
What kind of reforms do you mean when you say you didn't make the necessary changes?
Yeah, we had much more. We could have much more work on modernizing our approaches, or let's say we could much more work on our policy clarity. We could work on more internal democracy, and also we could much more have worked on performance-based leadership. So I think we did not work on those things. So we could not make our party timely. We could not run our party untimely. The demand of time was not to stay as a status quo. We should have to change our party as timely. So I think we did not do that, but we have learned much more thing.
Of course, the party is going to review, I'm sure, the election results, but what are your takeaways from this election result?
I think we need to work on 3 things. That one is the internal democracy. That means it's much more transparent and merit-based opportunities within the party. So next could be the policy-driven politics. That means we need to give stronger emphasis on research, data, and sectoral expertise. Right. because we are lacking our sectoral expertise. People could not come into our party. We should make our party very open. So the next could be the youth integrations. Youth integration inside the party, that means I'm not talking about the symbolic inclusion, but decision-making roles for younger leaders. So the party must evolve from personality-driven to institutional-driven politics. I think we need to do that.
With only 38 seats total in the parliament at the moment, with RSP having a majority as well, how do you think you will ensure that the voice that your party raises is not ignored or in the legislative table?
We need to raise our voices there, but they have the two-third majority, nearby two-third majority. But for Congress, for us, being in the opposition is not a setback. So it is an opportunity. It is an opportunity to us also to reset, also to reflect, and also to rebuild credibility. So Nepali Congress Party, it has historically, played a central role in strengthening democracy. So now the responsibility is to offer constructive oppositions, so question where necessary, support where appropriate, and present credible alternatives. So the future of us, the future of all new MPs like us, it depends on how effectively we reconnect with citizens through delivery-oriented politics, but not the legacy. So being a big party, RSP, I congratulate them. But on the other hand, we will raise our voices very stronger and loud, and not only we do not only criticize the things, but we support for the good things there. So I don't think they are going to demoralize us.
The parliament at the moment has many young faces. You, as one of the youngest members of the HOR, do you relate more to the younger parliamentarians of other parties than the old guards in your own party?
The old people, they have the experiences, right? They have worked a lot for democracy. So we need to check their experiences. We need to grab their experiences, and also we also need to make us more important, more supportive and more powerful. But on the same side, like many youngers this time, they have come as parliamentarians. So that means we need to collaborate, and we need to work, because it's not only a single person thing. It's all about the institutional process. So if we can work much more on institutional capacity building, so we can do it more.
What do you think your party's role will be at the parliament, and who do you think, or what kind of candidate do you think will be suitable to lead the parliamentary party for the opposition role?
It's our responsibility for the constructive oppositions, and we need to reconnect with citizens through delivery-oriented politics, not only the legacy. And the next one is that the party's parliamentary leader, it's very the 36 years honorable, respected person is going to be a prime minister. Why not the next younger guy can be a party's opposition leader? Right. So it's not about the ease, but it's about the voices and the roles and the responsibilities and accountability and culture itself. So that the ease, on the other hand, it could be important, but the important thing is that the culture, the parliamentarian system, accountable, credibility, isn't it? Responsiveness towards the citizen. So we, the young, we also can take the responsibility. But there need to be a party's consent, because Nepali Congress does not believe on their personal decisions, but it believes on the collective leadership. So as we are Democrats, we need to build a culture of democracy.
Your party president Gagan Thapa resigned on moral grounds, which the Central Committee rejected unanimously. But what for you would define a moral responsibility for leaders, especially during setbacks like these?
Though the party have rejected it, I was also in that sense. I think that needs to be rejected because in this current scenario, in this current time, the only guy, the only people, is the party leader that who can much more make better Congress, right? Because he have the experiences, he also have a vision, and he is accountable, and he is hardworking and dedicated, and he is also a very quick learner, and he can also understand much more about the scenarios. In democracy, winning and losing, it's natural. Sometimes one party can win. The Nepali Congress have also faced so many elections before. We also have won in some elections. We also have lost in some elections. So that Gagan Thapa, respected Gagan Thapa, has contributed significantly in being in the policy debates, accountability, and reform-oriented thinking into policy discourse. So his importance is much more important now itself. So his resignation is all about his honesty. But I already told you that the party does not go with the personal thoughts. It will go with the collective leadership. So that the Central Committee have rejected it.
When you speak in favor of your current party president, is there any way that you are making exceptions considering his contribution? Congress
is a large and diverse party, right? So its directions will always be set by the collective leadership and institutional process, not by the individuals. But inside the party, there are many people with their own perceptions and own insights. But I already told you that we believe on collective leadership. We go through the collective decisions. We go through the institutional process. So this is not for his support. This is for the party.
The September convention of Nepali Congress is on its way. It's being seen as an opportunity to fix internal cracks that was exposed by this election result. In terms of leadership and party operations, what are your expectations from the convention?
From the convention, as we are the largest democratic party, differences in opinion are natural. But the key is how those differences should be managed, right? The more important question is there. So to handle it constructively, the actually strengthen the party by improving our decision-making process. So I believe this convention is going to be a convention, unity of purpose, even if we have also the diverse viewpoint, but this convention will going to unite us. I believe in that.
And what kind of reforms do you think the party needs to ensure that it grows stronger? I
would like to say is that the core ideology is still very clear. That means the democracy, that means the inclusiveness, that means the balanced economic approach. But the reform part, what we need is that the better articulations and applications of our ideology in today's context, especially on jobs, especially on youth inclusiveness, especially on economy, and especially on governance. I think this reform should be done on. We need to work on these things.
Rashtra Swatantra Party brings in a diverse set of lawmakers from all walks of life. Do you think this diversity is going to impact the collective voice that the party is trying to bring?
I don't know how they are going to manage, but the very good thing is that people from diverse area, right, diverse expertise, they have enrolled this time. That is a very good thing for us because expertise from the different sectors they know the problems and they know the solutions. So that might be a very good part of it. But the thing is that it's all about the management, right? Of how RSP is going to manage those voices within themselves. So it's quite most important. But I wish them a very good luck and they could manage it.
You're also a scholar of economics. How do you view our current economic stand, and what could the new parliament and the new government do to make reforms and reach Nepal's potential?
From my perspective, from my view, Nepal's economic growth must be driven by productive sectors, not just consumption. So the productive sectors, the key areas include the agriculture and its value chain, all right, and tourism and services. Nepal has a very big potential on tourism and services. So and the next one is the small scales and medium enterprises, and the next one is the digital economy, as we have recently, we are going on it. So we need to shift from our remittance dependency to domestic productivity and job creation. So if we could do this, I think we can bounce in our economy.
Mm-hmm. Ideologically speaking, this is something that most leaders say, analysts also reiterate, but what do you think are the concrete actions that the next government needs to take to ensure the goals that you just mentioned?
The government need to look in the current, or they need to reform in the policies, right? So we also have a lot of young people that are working on abroad, on diaspora. Mm-hmm. So we need to motivate them to come to our own country, but not only motivating that they don't come, but we need to make the environment, we need to set the environment there. There are a lot of people with skills, but we don't have skill mapping approaches. So government need to map their skills, right? Also they need to support on entrepreneurship. I mean, that could be the startup funds, or let's say the subsidies, or let's say the... So if we could grow up, or if we could build up of some enterprises or enterprise environment, so they could come to the country and do the work. So that could be the bridging for job creations and everything. Mm-hmm. And also it's much more important for that, need to be given much more importance for the farmers and for the agricultural sectors. Mm-hmm. Right. So the farmers, they need to the timely fertilizers, the market access, agricultural value products, value additions, and when the government do work on it, so definitely there will be the environment of working here.
Nepal is also at a very critical crossroad at the moment. We are graduating from least developed country status in November this year itself, but our economy still relies heavily on remittances rather than domestic production. What do you think the next government should do that will turn the young workforce into a domestic engine for growth instead of an export for foreign labor market? Yeah,
I already told you that the government should be much more focused on, but I also hope the government will do this, upcoming government will do, because they do not have any excuses now, because they already have the majority, right, nearly 2/3 majority. So also their voices was also on these things. So I hope they will do it. I wish them good luck. But they need to do, the government need to do is that they need to connect the policy with the needy people, with the people, and we definitely need to work on our productive sectors, so that we can lower our dependency on remittance.
We also hear a lot about this dream of being digital Nepal, attaining our AI and IT potential. What hurdles do you think there are in attaining these goals?
The hurdles on digital economy is that the digital governance system. For my personal view, that means we don't have a very clear policy on digital governance, and also the regulation part, and also the opportunities that need to be driven by the governments. Let's say the youths should be given a much more opportunity on it. So let's say in education system, we need to build our youngers with a skill on digital systems and everything. So that maybe we could be halfway, because we have a lot of younger people. That's our assets.
What structural reforms would you like to spearhead or advocate at the Parliament which would bring about the changes so that Nepal can be a place to retain youth and the country of prosperity that they dream of?
A dream about holding the governments accountable, improving the policy through constructive critique, as we are going to be on the opposition path. So the next one is represent public concern very effectively. That means we'll raise our issues, question decisions, and ensure accountability. So raising these questions that might the reform it, that might work on the reform it, while also we support the policies that benefit the country. Not only a very critical opposition, but also we are going to support the government and policies that benefit the country and that benefit the economy. So I hope this will help us to reform on policies and everything.
Honourable Member of Parliament, thank you so much for your time and we wish you the best.
Yeah, I'm very happy and I'm honoured for NTV World and even you. Thank you for inviting and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well, as a new generation of lawmakers take their seats, the true test is going to be whether legislative action can match the speed of public expectations, particularly in transforming our economic foundation. The transition from legacy politics to a results-driven era has begun, but can the new and young voices truly rewrite Nepal's story? We're keeping a watchful eye on how this democratic experiment unfolds. Our discourse here on NTV World continues. Thank you for watching this episode of Insight. I'm Sarah Sapsalamarai. Until next time.
Pokhara is undoubtedly #1 destination for tourists in Nepal. The valley, blessed with natural beauty, attracts domestic and foreign tourists alike. You must have already visited Pokhara. If you haven't or planning another trip, then these are some of the must-go places in Pokhara. The first attraction in Pokhara is the Feva Lake. Boating in Feva Lake is a ritual for every tourist visiting this paradise. The Tal Barahi temple at the center of the lake adds to the beauty of the place. A round-trip boat ride in Feva Lake to and from the temple is a feature of both the lake as well as the temple. Separate boat ride, watching the reflection of Mount Machapuchri on the lake and fishing spice up the Feva experience. The lakeside along the banks of the Feva Lake is a popular tourist hub. Many tourists in Pokhara choose Devi's Fall as their second destination in Pokhara. The water from Feva Lake exits towards Seti River through the Gupteshwar cave from this Devi's Fall. The mighty water stream rushing deep down into the gorge, covered by water vapor, is a magical sight. Pokhara is known as the city of lakes and caves. Many of the lakes and caves have religious importance. This is Gupteshwar cave at Chorepatan area. Inside the cave, the idol of Lord Shiva is a well-known pilgrimage. Further inside the cave, one can see the Devi's Fall. Mahindra cave is another famous place in Pokhara. and nearby is another well-known Chamere cave. Both the caves can be visited together. Two other well-known tourist destinations in Pokhara are Begnas and Rupa lakes. Fresh fish of Begnas lake is a sought-after delicacy. Rupa lake is just round the corner beyond a small hill towards the eastern edge of Begnas lake. Away from the hustle and bustle of the town, Begnas and Rupa lakes cannot be taken out of a tourist's itinerary. This is the famous white monastery on top of the hill above Pheva Lake. This is also a popular destination for domestic as well as foreign tourists. The top-angle bird's eye view of Pokhara city from the monastery is a sight to behold. The placid Pheva Lake, the tall mountain range, and the birds like paragliding pilots on the background of Sarankot Hill are mesmerizing. The Bindabasini temple in Pokhara is a famous shrine in Nepal. The best route to visit the temple is on the way to Sarankot. Devotees throng the Bindabasini temple, which is atop a small hill with panoramic view of Pokhara city. The Bindabasini temple is famous among the Hindus across the country. Sarankot is a hill station on top of a hill on the northwestern side of Pokhara. A must-go place to see the majestic Mount Machapuchre and Mount Dhaulagiri in the Annapurna range in front of the eyes, and also the Pokhara and Leknath cities on the other side. Sarankot is synonymous to paragliding in Nepal. Taking off from the Sarankot hill, one can enjoy the panoramic mountain range in addition to the bird's eye view of Pokhara city. Ultralight and zip flyer offer a thrill to adventure seekers in Pokhara and are becoming major interests for tourists. Other places including Swarak in Sangja have the potential to be world's best place for paragliding. First time in Nepal, Paragliding Accuracy World Cup was held at this place, situated at Mahapur of Virkot municipality of the district. The place drew global attention after the event. Pokhara, famous tourism destination of the country. Majority of locals engaged in tourism industry. The city of lakes and caves, hub of aviation sports. Some major destinations: Lakeside, Pheva Lake and Tal Barahi Temple, Begnas and Rupa Lakes, Mahendra Gufa.
Hom Bahadur Tamang, a gifted Thanka artist from the spiritual heart of Bodha, has turned his craft into a global bridge between tradition and business.
Thanka चाहिँ मैले 1970 सिक्न सुरुवात गरेको. मेरो टिचर चाहिँ म भन्दा अघिल्लो मेरो दाइ हो, साइला दाइ. मेरो चाहिँ बाउपादेखि नै कलाकार हुनुहुन्थ्यो. पाटन, भक्तपुर, छामेल, दरबार स्क्वायरमा यसै पसल बेच्ने काम हुन्थ्यो. अनि त्यो बेच्दा मैले यो थाङ्गा चाहिँ विदेशीले किन्दो रहेछ आफैले विदेशसँग बेच्नुपर्छ भन्ने अलिकति मनमा मलाई अलिकति सोच आयो। त्यसपछि मैले 2050 सालमा यहाँ सुरु गरेँ, आजभन्दा 32 वर्ष अगाडि।
What began as a young artist's journey through the streets of Kathmandu has blossomed into a thriving enterprise where sacred art meets business and tourism. With every brushstroke, home brings Nepal's rich spiritual heritage to the world, transforming Thanka painting into a symbol of cultural fusion.
त्यो बेला चाहिँ पसल कोही पनि यहाँ थिएन, किनभने त्यो मार्केटले चाहिँ कहाँ मार्केट हुन्छ भन्ने खोज्दो रहेछ। त्यो खोज्ने क्रममा म यहाँ आइपुग्यो। विदेशीहरू पनि यहाँ त्यति अहिले जस्तो बस्दैन, 5 मिनट 10 मिनटमा घुमेर जानुहुन्थ्यो। त्यतिखेर खाने रेस्टुरेन्ट पनि एकजना मात्रै थियो, एउटा मात्रै थियो। अहिले चाहिँ होस् त्यो बेला र अहिलेमा धेरै आकाश जमिनको फरक भएको छ।
His story is one of passion, innovation, and a deep commitment to preserving tradition while embracing the future.
विशेष गरी यो बौद्ध स्तूपसँग रिलेटेड छ। यो बुद्धको शिक्षासँग रिलेटेड यो थाङ्गा चाहिँ संसारको मानिसहरू यो स्तूपलाई घुम्ने क्रममा यो प्रार्थना गर्ने मेन आउने ठाउँ चाहिँ यो रहेछ। त्यसो भएको हुनाले यो चाहिँ विशेष गरी ओल्ड हेरिटेज साइटमा चाहिँ त्यो पनि के हो बुद्धिस्टको भएको हुनाले चाहिँ नेपालभरिको नै थाङ्का बिक्ने ठाउँ चाहिँ अति महत्त्वपूर्ण चाहिँ यो नै हो वास्तवमा, किनभने रिलेटेड छ यो बुद्धसँग।
From the hills of Ramechhap to the heart of Bodha, Home Bahadur Daman has a glorious story to tell. A story of will, determination, struggle, and success.
म आफै पनि रामछाप दुर्गम जिल्लामा जन्मेको चाहिँ रोजगार छैन, त्यहाँ स्कुल छैन, कलेज छैन, हस्पिटल छैन, रोजगार छैन। त्यसपछि म पनि रोजगारकै क्रममा यहाँ आएर मैले सुरुवात गर्यो। अहिले चाहिँ म लगभग 49 वर्ष भयो यही पेसा गरेर दाल भात खाएको। अब नयाँ पुस्तालाई पनि मैले हस्तान्तरण गर्नुपर्छ है भन्ने मेरो एउटा उद्देश्यले चाहिँ अहिले मैले नयाँ पुस्तालाई चाहिँ गाउँबाट आउनुहुन्छ स्कुल सकेर अनि बिहान चाहिँ कलेज जानुहुन्छ, दिउँसो काम छैन। त्यस कारणले मैले 3 महिना फ्री ट्रेनिङ दिने गरेको छ। उहाँको स्किल आन्सर टेस्ट गरेर हामीले यहीँ तलब दिएर जस्तो बिहान कलेज पनि भ्यायो उसो कति हो त्यसो त्यहाँबाट एक्स्ट्रा टाइम चाहिँ 5 घण्टा 6 घण्टा 7 घण्टा पनि यहाँ जीवन चलाउने चाहिँ काम भइरहेको छ अहिले।
For 49 years, he painted, taught, and empowered young artisans. Today, his school preserves tradition and creates futures.
हामीले यहाँ सुरुमा इन्टरभ्यू लिन्छु, त्यसपछि 1 हप्ता चाहिँ नि सानो र क्यानभासमा हात ट्रेनिङ दिन्छु, त्यसको शरीरको बडीहरू अलिकति ट्रेनिङ दिन्छु अनि 1 हप्तापछि ओके भनेर ओके या यस भने कोही मानिस नसक्ने चाहिँ नि आधा घण्टामा 1 घण्टामा उठेर गइहाल्छ। म सक्दैन, ढाड दुख्यो, किन उसको मन धेरै भएर गयो, त्यो सक्दैन, ऊ आउँदैन, एक दिन पनि आउँदैन। मात्रै आँखा चाहिँ हुनु पर्यो। हामीले अपाङ्गलाई पनि सिकाएको छ, जस्तो बाहिर कान नसुन्ने पनि सिकाएको छ, आँखा चाहिँ हुनु पर्यो, त्यस्तै हो।
As interest in Buddhism grows worldwide, so does the appreciation for our sacred art. Foreigners now come not just to admire but to learn, studying our architecture techniques and meditative Thanka traditions, giving new life to what was once known only within our borders.
बुद्धिज्म नेपाल हो। नेपालमा जति छन् विश्व सम्पदामा सूचीमा भएको मठ मन्दिर गुम्बद छ, यसैबाट उहाँले पनि सिकेको वास्तवमा। यो जुन बौद्ध स्तूप र भनौँ लुम्बिनी त्यो जस्तो उहाँहरूले बनाउन सक्दैन, तर यसको चाहिँ एकदमै महत्त्वपूर्ण के छ भगवान या चाहिँ दोस्रो तेस्रो बुद्धको रिलेटिभ यहाँ छ। जति चाहिँ अहिले संसारमा यो बुद्धिज्म फैलिँदै जान्छ, यो महायान बुद्धिज्म त्यत्तिकै ठाङ्गको भ्यालु चाहिँ बढ्दैछ अहिले। जस्तो मेरै कुरा मैले 40-45 वर्ष यति ठाङ्गको महत्त्व थिएन, किनभने वर्ल्ड वाइडमा बुद्धिज्ममा थिएन, विदेशहरूले जानेकै थिएन। उनीहरूले त्यो सुरसुर आउँदाखेरि सानो तिनी एउटा नेपाल आउँदाखेरि सुपर नेट किन नलैजाऊ भन्ने मात्रै लाइन्थ्यो। अहिले चाहिँ उहाँहरू चाहिँ जस्तो अमेरिका, युरोप, तपाईँको यो सिङ्गापुर, ताइवान, मलेसिया विभिन्न देशमा चाहिँ अहिले बुद्धिस्ट प्र्याक्टिसनर धेरै उहाँहरू चाहिँ गर्नुहुन्छ। त्यसको लागि चाहिँ एकदमै महत्त्वपूर्ण छ। त्यस कारणले भविष्यमा यो थाङ्गा चाहिँ छ, यसको मार्केट छ।
As an artist, entrepreneur, and a master, he feels fulfilled, creating beauty, guiding others, and living with purpose.
मैले संसार जीवन जगतलाई थाहा पायो अहिले हामी सांसारिक जीवन छ सांसारिक जीवनमा कसरी जिउने र अर्कोलाई पनि कसरी जिउन दिने कला थाहा पायो त्यसपछि अब जुन देशमा जन्मे पनि जुन कुलमा जन्मे पनि 100% निश्चित के हो भने मृत्यु छ त्यो त निश्चित हो नि एउटै निश्चित छैन कहिले पनि निश्चित छैन तर त्यो मर्नेमा म कसरी मर्ने भन्ने कला पनि थाहा पाएँ मलाई त धेरै परिवर्तन भएको छ मैले परिवर्तन भयो भने के हुन्छ मैले ठुलो पत्यारो चढ्यो ठुलो गाडी त्यस्तो होइन तर मलाई खुसी छ सादा दाल भात खान पाएछ मैले परिवार पाल्नु पाएछ यही ठाङ्गाले म जापान घुम्यो युरोप गयो चाइना घुम्यो बुद्धिस्ट कन्ट्री सबै घुमेको छ सबै ठाउँमा मैले घुम्नलाई मलाई पैसा आपत पनि परेन ठाङ्गा सँगसँगै लान्दै ब्रिफिङ गर्दै बेच्दै दर्शन बेचेको हो त्यसकारण मलाई त एकदम खुसी छु म त पनि
How many countries can you recognize by just looking at their flags? 20, 40, maybe 60. Today I'm joined by a young prodigy from Kathmandu, Nepal, who has far surpassed those numbers. At just 10 years old, Kripal Paudel secured his place in the World Book of Records by successfully identifying and reciting the flags of every country in the world in just 1 minute and 40 seconds. This historic feat was officially recorded on July 10, 2024. Kripal, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Are you excited for the interview?
Yes, I'm already excited for this interview.
We'll show you random 40 flags and you have to name them as fast as possible.
Canada, Morocco, Russia, Malaysia, Thailand, Ethiopia, Guatemala, Belgium, Dominican Republic, Switzerland, Lithuania, Iceland, Italy, Spain, Ecuador, Montenegro, Cuba, Rwanda, South Korea, Haiti, Chile, Bolivia, Luxembourg, Honduras, Venezuela, Bangladesh, Portugal, Estonia, Kenya, Vietnam, Belarus, Greece, Nicaragua, Uruguay, Colombia, Finland, Zimbabwe, Peru, Tunisia, Ireland, Netherlands, Kosovo.
So, Kripal, how do you memorize them? When you see a flag, do you see a picture or do you see the name of the country instantly in your head?
First of all, it's interest of any people. Like, I have an interest in geography. I read geography books and I know the flags of these countries so well.
When did you first realize you had this superpower? And was it just a hobby or you had to memorize for school exams?
No, it was not to memorize for school exams. It was my hobby, and I have recognized it like for last 3 years, 4 years like that.
So walk us through your world record journey.
So it was amazing and wonderful. And throughout the journey, we introduced a form in the Worldwide Book of Records. And as the journey continues, we attended this record in my school, and we got that certificate and all that medals, etc.
How does it feel to represent Nepal on the global stage of the World Book of Records?
It was very proud to recognize my country, my motherland, Nepal, to recognize on the world's global. Yeah, it is so. It means that Nepalese people are also educated.
Now tell us more about yourself. Is it just flags, or are you this fast with maths, history, dates, or any other subjects?
Yeah, all subjects I got full marks in practical also, theory also, and all subjects I'm very good at, excellent at. But it's all about creativity of an normal people. Every people has an interest, and if they follow their interest, they will become success in the world.
Do you consider your talent as normal?
Yeah, it's normal for me. I don't know how other people will think about it.
Who is your biggest cheerleader?
My parents are my biggest cheerleaders. They support me in every way. They support me in every situation, and I'm very thankful to have parents like them.
Let's talk beyond your world record.
Yes.
Who is Cripple Powder and what are your interests?
So, Cripple Powder is basically a normal person. My hobbies are to study about geography, to study about politics, to study about news, climates, and beyond that studies, I also have interest in sports and other categories.
Okay, now let's talk about your future. You've already bagged the world record now. What's next?
After an attempt in Guinness Book of World Records, and I'm doing 3D animation in Blender, 2D animation in After Effects, Adobe Premiere Pro, and Illustrator also. And also, it's been great to do this.
You're interested in technology as well?
Yes. I didn't have a decision to become what in future.
Oh, you've not decided yet?
Yes. I'm so small too.
So when you think about you being an adult, what comes to your mind? What profession suits you?
I have been doing 3D animation in the past 1 year, and I'm doing a great job in 3D animation. So my interest is 3D animation also.
So outside of flags and studying, what is Cripple's favorite thing to do?
I want to socialize with my parents, and I want to travel also. I want to travel the world's countries.
Now, here's a fun segment. I'll ask you a question. You need to answer in one word, or you can just answer it in one sentence. Are you ready?
Yes.
The first question is, which one do you think is the coolest looking or has the best color or shape?
I'm not disrespecting every flags. They are all beautiful in their people's angles. But as being a Nepali flags is a different one from all the world's flag.
Which one was the hardest to memorize?
So probably the longer words flag, it can be anything like Kyrgyzstan and maybe Uzbekistan. I saw many flags like Monaco and Indonesia. They are same. Indonesia and Poland are also same. Ireland and Cote d'Ivoire, they are also similar.
Is there a country you want to visit just because its flag is cool?
The coolest one I want to go to is Switzerland, maybe.
Switzerland, just because its flag is beautiful?
Yes.
Are you interested in just countries or the cities as well?
As learning geography, cities are also important to learn, and I am learning about cities as well as the states as well.
Do you ever see flags in your dreams?
I haven't seen a flag in my dream.
Now we've come to the end of the show. Do you have anything that you want to share with your audience?
I'm very grateful to my parents and thankful to my parents. And also I learned 3D animation in Pixel Media, which is a company that provides you how to learn about 3D animation, 2D animation. And I want to thank to all the members of the NTV World to giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
have made drastic progress in the sector of handicrafts with the development of civilization from the Stone Age until the 21st century. These include and are not limited to works of art, sculptures, wood and metal crafts. These handicrafts have also found religious, historic, cultural and archaeological acceptance and significance. Religious texts have identified the attraction of human settlements in the mountainous region of Nepal, which has always remained an independent sovereign nation. Ramapithecus human remains found in Butwal of West Nepal clarifies that human settlement had begun in Nepal more than 10 million years ago. We find historic references of works of handicrafts made by those living in this region. Such Nepali handicrafts are artistic and useful, therefore also successful in gaining international appreciation. Instead of the modern handicrafts, Nepal is well introduced in the international community by its traditional and historic works of art and craft. Millions of tourists who visit Nepal every year observe, study and relish the traditional handicrafts available at religious shrines. The high-quality woods brought from local forests are seasoned before being carved. Nepali woodcrafts are not only popular inside the country, but also have a demand abroad and therefore are exported. In addition to sculptures of gods and goddesses, artistic doors and windows, among other furniture, are made from wood in Nepal. Best examples of Nepali woodcraft can be taken as the artistic carvings at palaces, temples and other religious shrines in Kathmandu, Lalitpur and Bhaktapur. The 6th century woodcraft present at Rudravarna Mahavihar in Okubahal of Lalitpur is considered the oldest. Nepali woodcraft continues to thrive with the creativity, dedication and effort of trained artists. Artist Punyaraj Tuladhar, popular around the world, shares his experience. Lalitpur is popular around the world for its metal craft in Nepal. Works of metal craft produced here had a great demand in countries including Bhutan, Japan, China and European nations. Metal statues are developed using two methods in Nepal: repose art and lost wax process, both widely popular around the world. Repose art is a metalworking technique in which a malleable metal, silver, copper and brass among others, is shaped by hammering from the reverse side to create a design in low relief. Small sheets of metal are cut based on required measurement to form different organs of statues before being welded together. Designs and patterns are then carved into the structure. Gold is plated in some works such as metalcraft as well. Such metal sheets are also used in the roof of temples and other religious shrines. silver filigree art of Nepal is internationally recognized. The genre, which began during the Lichvi era and grew in the Malla era, is considered quality work of art of Most of such sculptures are made from the stones found in local hills, including Hattiban, Machegao, Tika Bhairav, Godavari and Kharpa, among others. Senior artist Dharmaraj Shakya says that Nepal's stone art has a unique identity. Of the stone sculptures found so far, a sculpture of King Jaya Varma found in Handicrafts and currently conserved at National Museum in Chhaoni is considered to be the oldest historic sculpture. Likewise, sculptures in Changu installed by King Mandev, another found in Tilganga near Pashupati, a sculpture of Vishnu Vikrant in Lazimpat, and the one at Budhanilkantha are also considered historic. Sculpture of Virupaksha Kirateshwar Mahadev at Pashupati Aryaghat, Vishwaroop at Changu, Garud Sayan Vishnu sculpture, Palanchuk Bhagwati, Gazalakshmi of Lalitpur, Chashal Hiti and Krishna Mandir of Patan, among others, are considered the best stone sculptures of Nepal. Terracotta sculptures and masks, among other artworks, are made from clay. Terracotta works are thought to have been in existence in Nepal from a long time. According to historians and archaeologists, terracotta works found during a recent excavation administered by the Department of Archaeology were from the 2nd century BC. In recent practices, terracotta works are made before the development of metal sculptures. Different goods used in daily life are made from terracotta works. In addition to the sculptures of religious figures, products such as cups and plates, among other utensils, are also made from terracotta technique, while they are sold in domestic and foreign markets as well. Artists who have been working with terracotta for ages live in Thimi of Bhaktapur, Dang and Kapilvastu. Popular artist Gopal Kalapremi says the creativity and dedication of Nepali artists has been uplifting terracotta works in and outside of Nepal. Pauba art is made in the Kathmandu Valley and is considered as a traditional art form. This form of art is known as Thanga in Tibet. In Tibetan language, documentation and archives of gods and goddesses is called Thanku or Thanga. In this form of art, color from natural minerals is used to paint the pictures of religious figures on cloth. The large figure of main god and goddesses is placed at the center, while remaining gods and goddesses are placed in relatively smaller figures at the other parts. The background of this form of art includes different kinds of flowers, clouds, trees, and birds and animals. An artwork of Ratnasambhav Buddha conserved at the County Museum in Los Angeles of the United States of America is considered to be the oldest Paubha art, which was developed in the 13th century. The Amitabha Buddha art of the 13th century, also at the County Museum alongside Vishnu Mandala of 1420, and the 19th century's Sahas Bhujalokeshwar saved at the National Museum in Chhaoni, are considered to be Nepal's best Paubha artworks. The demand of Paubha artworks is increasing in Nepal and the foreign market. Popular and senior artist Lok Chitrakar says continuous efforts of talented artists has helped increase the popularity of Nepali Paubha art. Nepali handicrafts have established a significant position in the international community for their traditional, religious, social, historic and archaeological richness. Nepal Academy of Fine Arts has been conducting significant tasks in regards to conservation, promotion and development of Nepali handicrafts. Active involvement of experienced, skilled and talented artists, along with their devotion and sacrifices, have been rejuvenating Nepali handicrafts and helping establish a unique and superior identity of Nepal in the international community.
Top diplomats from Saudi Arabia, Egypt and Turkey have gathered in Islamabad for two-day talks with their Pakistani counterpart on the US-Israel war on Iran, seeking to de-escalate the conflict. The talks on Sunday and Monday are being led by Pakistani Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar, who announced late on Saturday that Iran had allowed 20 more ships under the Pakistani flag, or 2 ships daily, to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif also said on Saturday that he had a detailed telephone conversation with Iranian President lasting over 1 hour as part of preparations for the Islamabad talks. The Iranian President praised Islamabad's efforts and thanked Pakistan for its mediation efforts to stop the aggression against Iran. Islamabad has long-standing links with Tehran and close contacts in the Gulf, while Sharif and the Army Chief Field Marshal Asim Munir have struck up a personal rapport with US President Donald Trump. The risk of an expanded Iran war grew on Saturday as Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthi rebels launched their first attacks on Israel since the start of the conflict, after the first of the 2 contingents of the thousands of additional US forces dispatched to the Middle East arrived on Friday on assault ship. Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf says his country's forces are waiting for American soldiers to enter on the ground so they can rain fire upon them. His comments follow the U.S. announcement that about 3,500 personnel have arrived in the region with the warship USS Tripoli. The Pentagon is preparing for weeks of ground operations in Iran, although it's not clear whether Donald Trump will approve them. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Friday that the U.S. could achieve its goals in Iran without any ground troops.
But we can achieve all of our objectives without ground troops, but we are always going to be prepared to give the president maximum optionality and maximum opportunity to adjust to contingencies should they emerge. We haven't gotten it yet. Look, we've got messages. We've had an exchange of messages and indications from the Iranian system, whatever's left of it, about a willingness to talk about certain things. We're waiting for further clarification about who is it that we would be talking to, what will we be talking about, and when will we be talking. I don't have any news for you.
Meanwhile, strikes continue across the Middle East, with Israel saying it has targeted temporary command centers in Tehran. Major infrastructure in Gulf countries is under attack. Emirates Global Communication says its main plant in Abu Dhabi has been significantly damaged. The EU Maritime Security Body has warned ships to avoid Yemeni territorial waters as Iran-backed Houthis could attack after Houthis fired missiles at Israel on Saturday. Thailand, Pakistan and Malaysia have obtained clearance for some of their vessels to transit the Strait of Hormuz after reaching separate agreements with Iran. Thai Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul said that Thailand has secured permission for its oil tankers to safely navigate the strategic waterway following the Thai Foreign Ministry's active diplomatic engagement with the relevant countries. The move aims to mitigate domestic crises like rising oil prices triggered by the Middle East tensions. In a social media post on Saturday, Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar announced that Iran had agreed to allow an additional 20 Pakistani vessels to pass through the strait, with 2 ships permitted to transit Delhi. Malaysian Foreign Minister Muhammad Hassan had said that several Malaysian oil tankers previously stranded in the strait had been cleared to move. However, he cautioned that despite receiving approval, the vessels must still wait for suitable transit windows given the tense security environment. United Nations spokesperson Stephen Dujarric said that Secretary General Antonio Guterres has set up a working group on the Strait of Hormuz situation to develop concrete proposals aimed at alleviating the impact of the shipping crisis on humanitarian needs and agricultural supplies. In response, Iran indicated it is moving to facilitate faster passage for humanitarian cargo ships through the strait at the UN's request. Operational arrangements will be coordinated with the UN in due course, according to Iranian authorities, who reaffirmed the country's commitment to ensuring the strait remains safe and stable for all non-hostile nations. Millions of demonstrators turned out across the United States in one of the largest coordinated protest actions in recent American history, rallying against President Donald Trump's administration and its key policies. Organized under the banner of the No Kings movement, the nationwide demonstrations spanned more than 3,300 planned events in all 50 states and extended to cities overseas, including London, Paris, and Rome. Participants voiced broad opposition to what they described as Trump's authoritarian governing style, hardline immigration enforcement, and the ongoing war with Iran, concerns that have underpinned rising public dissatisfaction with the administration's direction. Demonstrators highlighted immigration enforcement operations at the southern border, continued U.S. military involvement in the Middle East, and other domestic issues as central grievances. Organizers estimated turnout in the millions nationwide, with some reports saying the movement drew one of the largest single-day protest turnouts in U.S. history. The protests come amid broader political tensions as the Trump administration faces low approval ratings and heightened scrutiny over its handling of immigration, foreign policy, and executive authority, issues that are expected to shape the political landscape in the months ahead. Scientists and conservationists have raised urgent alarms about the escalating industrial fishing of krill in the Southern Ocean, warning that the tiny creatures, a key foundation of the Antarctic marine food web, face mounting pressure that could destabilize the region's fragile ecosystem. Krill, the small shrimp-like organisms found in vast swarms across the Southern Ocean, are a crucial food source for whales, penguins, seals, and seabirds. They also play a significant role in ocean carbon cycling and climate regulations. Researchers from the Ocean Conservation Organization under the Pole, who have been diving among krill swarms in icy Antarctic waters, describe the species as being at the very base of the entire food chain and warn that the current industrial fishing activities risk pushing the ecosystem towards a tipping point. Scientists have expressed concern that krill populations are under rising threat from fleets of large industrial trawlers harvesting them for products such as fish meal, aquacultural feed, and omega-3 supplements. Scientists caution that continued pressure on krill stocks, when combined with climate-driven changes, could have cascading effects on marine biodiversity and food security for species that depend on krill. The situation underscores broader concerns about sustainable fisheries management in one of the planet's most remote and vulnerable vulnerable environments. Under the slogan Kites of Peace, the third edition of the International Kite Festival has kicked up at Jara Beach in southern Tunis, bringing together participants from 15 countries in a vibrant celebration of artistic creativity and cultural exchange. The festival attracts young kite enthusiasts from around the world to showcase their skills in flying kites in a festive and energetic environment. Activities will continue until March the 31st, with participation from countries including Libya, Algeria, Egypt, France, Italy, Hungary, Portugal, China, and India. The event has become a major cultural and tourist attraction, transforming the skies of Jara Beach into a colorful canvas, conveying messages of peace and friendship from Tunisia to the world, symbolizing the meeting of people and cultures. Vietnam saved more than 460,000 kilowatt-hours of electricity during the Earth Hour 2026, according to organizers, marking a higher level of public participation compared with previous years. The 1 Hour Lights Up campaign observed worldwide resulted in energy savings equivalent to approximately $40,000. Officials say the outcome reflects growing awareness of energy conservation and environmental protection among businesses and residents. This year's National Countdown event was held in Quang Tri, a locality positioning itself as a renewable energy hub. Representatives from the Worldwide Fund for Nature WWF said the campaign aims to promote renewable energy development across Vietnam, highlighting the country's potential for solar power in southern region and wind energy along the coastal areas. While electricity savings exceeded last year's figures, officials emphasized that the campaign's broader goal is to encourage lasting behavioral change and more efficient energy use beyond the annual event. Pope Leo XIV led Palm Sunday Mass in St. Peter's Square on Sunday, marking the start of Holy Week in the Catholic calendar. Thousands of worshippers gathered in the square, which commemorates Jesus Christ's entry into Jerusalem. The service was followed by traditional prayer delivered to pilgrims and visitors in attendance. During the Mass, palm branches and olive branches were blessed and distributed, in keeping with long-standing Catholic tradition. Security and crowd management measures were in place as large numbers of faithful filled the square. Palm Sunday is one of the most significant observances in the Christian calendar leading into Easter celebrations. Vatican officials said the ceremony proceeded smoothly with a strong turnout from both local and international pilgrims. French skipper Garrick Soudet has set a new record for a reverse solo circumnavigation, completing the voyage in 94 days, 21 hours and 58 minutes, nearly a month faster than the previous benchmark. Soudet arrived to a hero's welcome in Brest after sailing against prevailing winds and currents, widely regarded as one of the most demanding challenges in offshore racing. He completed the journey aboard a MSCSF maxi trimaran, maintaining high speeds despite difficult conditions throughout the route. The reverse circumnavigation route, opposite to standard global sailing patterns, subjects sailors to stronger heavy winds and adverse currents, making record attempts significantly more complex. There were no immediate reports of major incidents during the voyage. Large crowds gathered in Tokyo as cherry blossoms reached peak bloom, signaling the arrival of spring across Japan and drawing thousands of popular viewing spots. At Inokashira Park, one of the capital's well-known hanami or flower viewing destinations, visitors spread picnic mats beneath fully blossomed sakura trees, taking advantage of clear weather and mild temperatures. Families, tourists, and office workers were seen sharing food and drinks while photographing the pink and white canopies overhead. Local authorities reported increased foot traffic in major parks and urged visitors to follow crowd management guidelines to ensure safety. Some areas implemented temporary measures, including restricted pathways and designated seating zones, to prevent overcrowding. The cherry blossom season, which typically lasts only a few weeks, holds deep cultural significance in Japan, symbolizing renewal and the fleeting nature of life.
This year's bloom arrived in line with historical averages, according to the Japan Meteorological Agency. Tourism officials expect the peak bloom period to boost domestic travel and international visitor numbers as Japan continues to see a steady recovery in tourism activity. The Russian State Ballet delivered performances of Romeo and Juliet and The Nutcracker at Hogwarts Opera House, drawing large audiences and highlighting cultural exchange between Vietnam and Russia. The productions features classical choreography, expressive movement, and orchestral scores that conveyed themes of love, loss, and fantasy. Organizers said the performances were part of ongoing efforts to bring international art to Vietnamese audiences. Performers described the emotional intensity of the roles as a key challenge, particularly in portraying poetic elements central to Romeo and Juliet. Despite the demands, artists said strong audience reception in Hanoi provided motivation and energy. Behind the scenes, dancers underwent extensive training to maintain the technical precision and expressive style associated with Russian ballet. The choreographer emphasized that the productions were presented without modification, citing the universal appeal of classical art. Audience members, including both local residents and international visitors, responded positively, praising the performance's emotional depth and technical execution. Cultural observers say the event underscores Vietnam's growing role as a destination for international performing arts, while also strengthening cultural ties between the two countries.
दुधकुण्डमा जानुभएको छ, म पनि पुगेर आएँ। दुधकुण्ड असाध्यै पवित्र स्थल, यो हिमाल काखमा रहेको तीर्थस्थल हो, पुण्यस्थल हो, देवस्थल हो र त्यहाँ चाहिँ एकचोटि पुग्नै पर्दो रहेछ। त्यहाँ पुगेर जुन आनन्दको अनुभूति हुन्छ त्यो चाहिँ कहीँ पनि पाइँदैन भन्ने चाहिँ महसुस भयो।
आनन्द लाग्यो, भएन मस्त लाग्यो। अनि यो ठाउँमा चाहिँ आएर तपस्या गरेर बस्नु जस्तो लाग्यो मलाई।
एकदमै राम्रो लाग्यो हैन, प्रकृतिले दिएको रमणीय तीर्थस्थल हैन। जो कोही पनि एकचोटि चाहिँ यहाँ आएर एकचोटि भ्रमण गरेर दर्शन
A city known for its legacy, Kirtipur. Locals also call it Kipu in their own dialect. It is the largest ancient settlement after Kathmandu, Lalitpur and Bhaktapur. The city still has an impressive Malla era neighborhood. It is also home to Taudaha, the largest lake in the Kathmandu Valley. There are temples, monasteries, bihars, and stupas for both Hindu and Buddhist devotees, along with countless festivals and ritual celebrations that altogether give Kirtipur its distinct and special character. With its ancient Newar settlements, this place is a beautiful convergence of Newar culture and heritage. The 2nd century settlements here, the temples and the stupas, along with the legends and the faiths surrounding them, are fascinating. Situated beside the Kathmandu Valley, which once was a natural lake itself, Kirtipur developed as a flourishing hub of early settlement and culture. Because of this, the area is exceptionally valuable for historical and cultural study. A long time ago, the children of Kirtipur's farming families apparently made a clay tiger to play with while herding sheep and goats. To make that tiger look even more lifelike, they wanted to add a tongue. So they left their sheep and goats nearby and went into the forest to gather leaves for it. Upon returning, the children found their sheep and goats missing. And when they investigated, the clay tiger opened its blood-red mouth and claimed to have eaten the animals. Apparently, what had happened was that the deity Bhairav, a Hindu deity, had entered the clay tiger. In their anger, the children then cursed the clay tiger so that its mouth would remain perpetually open. This is the famous legend behind the Bagh Bhairav temple as remembered by the residents of Kirtipur. Bagh Bhairav is the revered deity of Kirtipur's residents. Situated in Kirtipur, this temple is accompanied by several smaller temples, many of which can be traced back to the 2nd century according to the historical records. Among them are temples dedicated to Yamaleshwar, Narayan, Bhavani Shankar, Ramchandra, Manavinayak, Vishwakarma, Sridhar Vishnu and Mool Ganesh, all of which were constructed in the 2nd century as per many inscriptions. The historical records mention that the Bagh Bhairav temple, originally made by Shivadev, was again renovated in the 16th century by Jagatpal Varma into a 3-tiered pagoda style. This makes the temple a central attraction of Kirtipur. Most Newar settlements, which are one of Nepal's ethnic groups, are adorned with temples and stupas. So Kirtipur is home to countless temples and stupas as well, too many to count by hand. The Uma Maheshwar temple here is located at the highest point in Kirtipur. From here, one can take in panoramic views of the entire Kathmandu Valley. Swayambhu, an ancient Buddhist stupa, is clearly visible from this vantage point. It is said that the temple's elevation is roughly the same as that of Swayambhu's. On clear days, the world's highest peak, Mount Everest, can also be seen from here. Uma Maheshwar, representing the Hindu deities of Shiva and Parvati in another form, is considered a symbol of family happiness and love. The temple's tiered roofs, its design, the surrounding houses, and the views are not only beautiful but also reflect its historical significance. It is an excellent place to explore and spend an entire day. Kirtipur is special not only for Hindu devotees but also for Buddhists. Its stupas and vihars are ideal for the study, research, and promotion of Buddhism. The Chilancho Stupa, located atop the hill, is said by historians to have been built during Emperor Ashok's visit to Nepal. Its renovation, however, took place in the 16th century during the time of Jagatpal Varma. This site is ideal for prayer and meditation. It feels like Chilancho spreads wisdom along with its fluttering flags under the open sky. It is said that seeing the hills surrounding the Chilancho Stupa, Prithvi Narayan Shaha, the 18th century king who unified Nepal, coveted Kirtipur. His attempts to capture Kirtipur, intended to make conquering Kathmandu, Bhaktapur and Patan easier, only succeeded on the third try. Facing south is Ratnasambhav, mounted on a horse and showing the Varad Mudra, which is a gesture of generosity and granting boons. Facing north is Amitabh, seated on a peacock in the meditation mudra, symbolizing infinite light and compassion. Facing west is Amogha, seated on a Garud with the Nag hood in Abhay mudra, a gesture of fearlessness and protection. At the center sits Vairochan, mounted on a lion and invisible, imparting profound knowledge of Buddhism. The presence of these 5 Buddhas is believed to guide those who have lost their way, whether it is in spiritual seeking or in travel. The stupas, vajras, and stone statues here are enchanting, capable of captivating visitors for hours. In Panga of Kirtipur, there is a cremation site. The deceased of the Panga community are cremated here, but this place is different from others. According to local tradition, one cannot stay behind after setting the body on fire. Normally, in other places in Hindu tradition, after the cremation, the ashes are collected after a process that can take up to hours. Here, however, bodies are covered with 9 pieces of wood for adults and 7 for children, along with water-soaked straw. Then the fire is lit before it is time to leave the site. This tradition is only for the people of Panga. Next to the burial ground stands the Vishnu Devi temple, one of the several Shakti Peeth or sacred power sites of the people of Kirtipur. This stupa houses the Pancha Buddha, the depiction of 5 knowledge of Buddha. Facing east is Akshobhya, mounted on an elephant and with earth-touching gestures. The area is peaceful and known for its spiritual atmosphere. Kirtipur is not only famous for its monasteries and chaityas, it is also rich in history and culture. This place is known for its year-round festivals, rituals, and vibrant cultural way of life. Among the important festivals are the Satgaunle Jatra, Gai Jatra, Bagh Bhairav Jatra, and Indrayani Jatra. On the day of Gai Jatra, a special dance is performed here. The Dhya Dhya Papa dance, also called Katmar, is a ceremonial performance where dancers in unique costumes move to traditional music. It is an integral part of Kirtipur's cultural identity. Here, visitors can also find various hotels, homestays, and Newari restaurants. The Newari-style houses and pathways decorated with traditional materials are truly captivating, and the popular Newari restaurants, which draw people from all around, are plentiful. A beautiful example of Newari culture is Newari food, which include famous dishes like bara, yomari, and samay bhaji. And visitors relish these dishes with great enjoyment. Just before entering Kirtipur, you arrive at another beautiful spot, Taudaha. Known for its environmental, cultural, and religious significance, this pond stretches about 500 meters in length and 400 meters in width. It is said to be shaped like a funnel. Believed to be dwelling place of Karkotak Nag, a serpent king in Hindu-Buddhist mythology. This lake is closely linked to the legends of Manjushri, a Hindu-Buddhist mythological figure, and the Rato Machindranath Jatra, one of Nepal's oldest chariot festivals. According to the folklore, when the Kathmandu Valley was still a lake, Manjushri cut open the hills to draw the water. The serpents living there were left without a home, so Bhimsen, a powerful heroic figure in Nepali folklore, created Taudaha to shelter them. The famous photo or vest displayed during the Rato Machindranath Jatra also traces its origins to Karkotak Nagraj and Taudaha. Legend says the vest belonged to Karkotak Nagraj, who gifted it to a farmer after the farmer cured his sick serpent queen. When the farmer later lost the vest, the dispute over who truly owned it became the story behind the festival where the vest is displayed. Taudaha is rich not only in religious and cultural significance but also in biodiversity. The area is home to 38 species of plants, 36 species of insects, and 116 types of birds. Swans gliding across the lake, birds perched in nearby trees, colorful fish swimming below, and small snakes seen occasionally along the banks. All of it make it easy to lose track of time while observing this vibrant ecosystem. In winter, birds migrate here from Siberia, Mongolia, and Tibet to escape the cold. Species such as lahari, kalihas, khoya, malak, and birds like great cormorant and Indian pond heron are also found here at Taudaha. These migratory birds travel thousands of kilometers from various countries to reach this lake. As a wetland area, Taudaha hosts water, land, vegetation, aquatic animals, amphibians, and other wildlife all in one place. For this reason, the lake attracts everyone from casual tourists to students conducting research. As tourist numbers increase, so have vendors selling fish feed around Taudaha. These traders who stay around the lake from morning to evening occasionally also encounter snakes. But believing the snakes to represent Karkotak Nagraj, the traders drive them away by just burning incense. Just before reaching Taudaha, Chobar is a unique tourist spot in Kirtipur. Manjushri Park here is one of the popular picnic destinations. Vinayak Temple and Adinath Lokeshwar Temple are all must-visit sites. This gorge is said to be where Manjushri cut the hills to drain water from the Kathmandu Valley, making it suitable for human settlement. Therefore, this place holds historical and mythological significance. Jalvinayak Temple is located along the Bagmati River. Among Kathmandu Valley's four main Ganesh temples, Surya Vinayak, Chandra Vinayak, and Ashok Vinayak, Jalvinayak is one of them. It is built in traditional pagoda style. Toran or archways, tudal or roof struts, and gajur or pinnacles enhance its architectural beauty. So this temple is significant both for religious faith and for historical and architectural value. Spread over 14.76 square kilometers, Kirtipur has many places to explore, which cannot be fully visited in a single day. Its heritage, lifestyle, and festivals are all unique. To guide tourists before visiting, a tourist information and service center has been established. It lies near the Kirtipur's entry point. This center provides information about major tourist attractions and helps make the visit easier. Exploring Kirtipur's historical, religious, cultural, and natural sites is incredibly enchanting. These sites are witnesses to history. For research and study, visiting Kirtipur is essential. The local lifestyle, daily life, the breeze, and the scent of the soil here, all of it are very special. In modern times, as ancient civilizations threaten to vanish, Kirtipur strives to maintain its ancient identity. Its monasteries, temples, chaityas, ponds, markets, and even the language reflect this heritage. Kirtipur is not just a tourist destination. It offers experiences of meditation and knowledge, and of peace and beauty. Its stories and hospitality attract everyone. To witness and feel the unique confluence of history, culture, and nature, visiting Kirtipur is a must, not just once, but again and again.
Actually, when I was 16, back in 2015, I was at a music festival. This music is called bluegrass that I play, and I was at this bluegrass festival, and this person named Tara Linhart. She is amazing. You can talk to her more, but she had a fantastic project called the Mountain Music Project. And I heard this project of Nepali musicians and bluegrass musicians coming together and fusing the music. And I thought it was really, really cool to see this cross-cultural collaboration. But I really just wanted to get back to music. And so I reached out to Tara. I had an opportunity to get some funding. And I emailed her randomly. She was in Bhutan at the time. And I said, hey, I want to set up a music project in Nepal. Can you connect me with some of your buddies? And she got on a WhatsApp call and started giving me the lowdown of how awesome it was. One of the people she introduced me to was actually Prince's father, Sham Nepali. And we met in New Hampshire. And we jammed together and had a great time. And he said, oh, when you get to Nepal, you have to meet my son. He's so great. He'll play music. You'll play music together. I was like, yeah, whatever. Okay. Like, every dad is going to say that about their son. Like, is it going to be great? Well, then 3 months later, I showed up in Nepal, and I had only brought a mandolin, and I wanted a guitar to write some songs on. So I called up Shamdai, and I said, hey, can I borrow a guitar? He said, yes, come meet my son. And so I met Prince in Kirtipur, and we started playing that day. And then we sat down and we started playing, and it was just like magic. It was just sort of this instant connection. That was pretty special and crazy to me that we grew up on opposite sides of the world, and there are American musicians who I don't vibe with. We don't have a connection, but me and Prince, it was just an instant connection. And so we started jamming together.
It's a love song that my great-grandfather composed, and we're gonna fuse with another bluegrass love song. सानी सानी ए झिल्के नानी कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी सानी सानी ए झिल्के नानी कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी हाय हाय कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी चस्मे दाजु झिल्के मिल्के जुल्फी मात्र कोर्ने चस्मे दाजु झिल्के मिल्के जुल्फी मात्र कोर्ने दारी जुङ्गा दन्त देखाइ मेरो मन चोर्ने दारी जुङ्गा दन्त देखाइ मेरो मन चोर्ने नजिस्काउन हे परुलाई हाय शिवर काकी छोरीलाई नजिस्काउन हे परुलाई हाय शिवर काकी छोरीलाई सानी सानी ए झिल्के नानी कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी हाय हाय कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी
जन्म दिने भगवान त हुर्काइदिने आमा जन्म दिने भगवान त हुर्काइदिने आमा कसले हेर यति राम्रो पहिराइदियो जमा कसले हेर यति राम्रो पहिराइदियो जमा सानी सानी एझिल्के नानी कति राम्रो कपाल तोरेकी सानी सानी एझिल्के नानी कति राम्रो कपाल तोरेकी हाय हाय कति राम्रो कपाल तोरेकी हाय हाय कति राम्रो कपाल तोरेकी हाय हाय कति राम्रो कपाल
She was living in a lonely cabin with another man. 5 years she had waited for him as long as a woman can, as long as a woman can. And I don't know what changed my mind, till then I was a rambling kind of love I can't explain that I had for Nellie Kane. To help her till the lands. In the afternoon we planted seeds, in the evening we held hands, in the evening we held hands. And her blue eyes told me everything that a man could want to know. It was then I realized I would never go, I would never go. And I don't know what changed my mind, till then I was a rambling kind of love explain that I had for Nellie Kane. We've grown up tall. I became a father to him, and she became my all. She became my all. And I don't know what changed my mind, till then I was a rambling kind of love I can't explain that I had for Nellie Kane. No, I don't know what changed my mind, till then I was a rambling kind of love I can't explain that I had for Nellie Kane.
Well, first of all, I just fell in love with Nepali culture. I love momos. I love dal bhat. I love it all. I love this beautiful country. I think our message to the world, one of them is that we want to show more people the beautifulness of Nepal. I think that from my perspective, I love Nepali folk music, but in this country, sometimes people haven't valued it. They've looked to the West for other influences. And so one of our goals is to bring up Nepali folk and fusing it. We're not just doing pure folk music, but to show that this is a vibrant, evolving history and tradition that is still relevant today. And then I also think to people abroad, and especially to Nepalis, I want to show them that they can take their instruments and their culture and they can bring it to the world, and that it's so amazing. I mean, everyone who I know maybe they don't know so much about Nepal, maybe the only thing they know is that Mount Everest is there. But then once they try a momo, once they hear some music, then they love it. And so we want to just share this music with more people and share the cross-cultural collaboration. I know I've been saying this for a couple of years now, but because we recorded an EP for one day, and then I've been gone from Nepal for the last year, and the hard drive just sat, and no one did anything with the files yet. So we finally got the files going, and we are finally working on our debut EP that will feature a lot of these songs, including the next one, which is one I wrote a couple of years ago. Cause all day I chug way after work and try to shove down all of the hurt. But sometimes at the end, does it fade on the page and my eyes just run a glaze? Instead of just
lose my mind. No, I can't bear this endless ticking of time. Well, right now we really want to go abroad, and in particular my dream is to bring the band to the US, to these festivals that I grew up going to, because I think it's so cool. I love playing the music that I grew up with, but with tabla on it, and the beat is dropping. It's so awesome. But right now we've been having a little bit of trouble figuring out with the visas, especially right now, so we're working on that. And then also being abroad. It's very difficult when I've moved back to the US recently, and so when we're far away, it's hard we can't make music in the same way, but it also means that the times when we are together, I've been back for a month, are just extra special because we get to make music together.
Nepal's former Prime Minister Oli and Home Minister Lekhak granted 5-day police remand. Supreme Court to hear habeas corpus petitions Monday. Nepal's former Minister Kharka arrested in money laundering case. CIB confirms ongoing investigation into alleged financial crimes. Government launches 100-day public service reform agenda, focus on digitizing services and performance-based efficiency. Nepal cracks down on online betting nationwide, blocks illegal apps amid concerns over youth. Pakistan hosts Saudi, Turkey and Egypt foreign ministers in Islamabad. Talks aim to de-escalate Middle East war. And Army and Gandaki claim victories in Prime Minister Cup cricket. Strong performances by Kushal Malla and Prithviraj Das. Good evening, I am Bijata Bhandari and you're watching NTV World News Hour, coming to you live from Kathmandu at 2200 hours Nepal time. Now the news in detail. Kathmandu District Court has approved a 5-day police remand for Nepal's former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli and former Home Minister Ramesh Lekhak. The arrests follow recommendations from the Inquiry Commission on the September 2025 Gen Z movement, which cited both for potential prosecution under Nepal's criminal code. Oli, currently under medical care at Tribhuvan University Teaching Hospital for a heart murmur, was brought to court virtually, while Lekhak appeared in person. Writs of habeas corpus have also been filed on their behalf, with the Supreme Court scheduled to hear the petitions on Monday. Former Energy Minister and senior Nepali Congress leader Deepak Kharka has been arrested by Nepal's Central Investigation Bureau CIB. CIB Chief Additional Inspector General AIG of Police Dr. Manoj Kesi confirmed that Kharka is in custody as part of an ongoing investigation into allegations of money laundering. Police officials have stated that preparations are underway to record Kharka's statement as authorities continue to probe the case. Nepal's government has launched a sweeping 100-point reform agenda aimed at modernizing public administration and improving service delivery. The plan sets strict timelines for key initiatives, including reducing the number of ministries to 17, digitizing citizen services like passports and driving licenses, and introducing performance indicators to reward efficiency. Citizens will be able to apply for essential documents online or receive them through home delivery, a move designed to reduce corruption and bureaucratic delays. Analysts and the public remain skeptical, noting past pledges of reform have often failed to materialize. But authorities say this ambitious push marks a new governance era and will be closely monitored. More on this in our issue of the day later in the bulletin. Now, Nepal has launched a nationwide crackdown on online betting, warning that the rise of digital gambling among young people is fueling debt, mental stress, and family conflicts. Authorities say all illegal betting apps will be blocked, and mobile and internet service providers have been directed to cooperate with the enforcement efforts. Officials stress this is part of a broader push to regulate the sector, though concerns remain that users may bypass restrictions using VPNs or new platforms. The Nepal Telecommunications Authority says it will continue monitoring the situation closely to ensure effective implementation. We'll dive deeper into this in our cover story segment later in the bulletin. Meanwhile, tensions between the US, Israel and Iran continue as military strikes persist across the region, while diplomacy moves forward at an unprecedented pace. Foreign ministers from Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Egypt and Pakistan met in Islamabad to push for confidence-building measures and direct talks between Washington and Tehran, with Pakistan acting as a central mediator. Iran's parliament speaker warned of potential attacks on U.S. ground forces, even as Secretary of State Marco Rubio emphasized that U.S. goals could be achieved without deploying troops. Meanwhile, regional strikes continue, including Israeli operations in Tehran, missile attacks by Yemen's Houthi rebels, and damage to major Gulf infrastructure such as Abu Dhabi's Emirates Global Aluminium Plant. Gandaki Pradesh and Tribhuvan Army Club have claimed victories in the Prime Minister's Cup one-day cricket tournament. Army defeated Bagmati by 3 wickets in a shortened 28-over match at Upper Mulpani Cricket Ground, chasing 209 with half-centuries from Kushal Malla and Thrithras Das, while Naren Saud took 4 wickets for Army. In another match at Lower Mulpani, Gandaki beat APF Club by 43 runs, bowling out the opposition for 107, while defending a target of 151 in a rain-shortened game. With this win, Army remains unbeaten and tops the points table with 7 points. Nepal's new government has unveiled an ambitious 100-point reform agenda, promising to reduce the number of ministries, digitize key services, and improve efficiency in public administration, among other pledges. We dive deeper into what these pledges look like and how the feasibility of services such as home delivery of essential documents might pan out in our Issue of the Day segment after this break. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World News Hour. Now on to our issue of the day. The government has officially launched an expansive 100-point action plan, marking a significant move toward governance reform with strictly allotted timelines for its most critical reforms. This wide-ranging roadmap aims to modernize the state apparatus through digital integration and enhanced accountability. While the plan is being hailed as a bold vision for a new governance era, analysts are closely observing how these ambitious targets will navigate long-standing systemic and structural hurdles. Sabika Shrestha brings you an insight.
The government's 100-item reform agenda has officially shifted into high gear, establishing a clear results-based framework for public administration. By assigning specific time-bound targets to each major action point, the administration aims to replace traditional bureaucratic lag with a culture of immediate delivery.
Very recently, the government have introduced with 100 points the reform agenda. Seems very positive. If we introduce the digital dashboard or digital service delivery system, definitely the corruption will be reduced. The middle person will be discouraged. It means the faceless bureaucracy will introduce. Basically, for this purpose, we have to look the internet access services to all the Nepalese people. Till our data will show about 75% of the population have the internet service. The remaining people doesn't have the service. Thus, we should reduce the price cost of the internet service. On the other hand, all citizens should have a knowledge, digital literacy to cope the government public service delivery.
At the forefront of this tiered timeline is a 100-day commitment to revolutionize document processing. The plan mandates that essential services, including passports, citizenship certificates, and driving licenses, transition to a home delivery model within the initial window. The reform approved by the cabinet aims to eliminate middlemen and reduce the need for repeated visits to government offices. To meet these deadlines, the national postal system is undergoing a strategic evolution into a specialized government-operated courier service.
Largely our people, normal people, the ordinary citizens, they aren't very familiar with the digitized system. Thus, maybe there is some lacuna, there is a between gap between the government respiration as well as the ordinary citizens' efficiency to comply with the digitization system. Thus, if government will introduce the digital literacy program to the people at large through the municipality, through the ward system, or government will introduce some cyber center in all the small village and towns, probably we can cope within a few years, but in the first day, probably all people cannot comply with the digitization system.
This logistical pivot is designed to ensure that official documents are not only processed but delivered in a faceless and trackable manner, aligning with modern governance standards. The reform package also includes wider digital integration. Citizens will be able to apply for services such as passports, police reports, and driving licenses online, primarily through mobile platforms like the Nagarik app within a 45-day implementation window. Additionally, documents like citizenship certificates and passports will be accessible from any district administration office, removing geographic barriers that have long burdened service seekers. For years, citizens have complained about delays, inefficiency, and reliance on intermediaries in accessing basic services. Studies on Nepal's public service delivery point to systemic issues such as bureaucratic inefficiency, weak implementation, and poor service behavior as major obstacles.
एरियामा पुर्याउन त सक्यो भने कति है धन विकट ठाउँहरुमा पुर्याउन त्यो नीति चाहिँ राम्रो हो लागू गर्न चाहिँ अलि प्रभावकारी हुन्छ कि हुन्न त्यो चाहिँ अब हेरौं कस्तो हुन्छ सरकारी कामहरु एकैछिन ढिला हुन्छ एक नम्बर कोठाबाट 6 नम्बरमा जाऊ 6 नम्बरबाट 10 नम्बरमा जाऊ सारै झ्या हुन्छ त्यो भन्दा अब यो नीति चाहिँ राम्रो हो लागू गर्न चाहिँ कसरी कतिको सक्छ भन्ने कुरा हो.
The government's push to digitize services and introduce home delivery appears to directly respond to these grievances. By reducing the need for physical interaction and standardizing timelines, the government hopes to foster a more efficient and user-friendly environment. While the goals are undeniably high, the success of the 100-point plan will serve as a litmus test for the state's capacity for rapid transformation. As the countdown begins, all eyes are on the bureaucracy to see if it can rise to meet this ambitious new standard of governance. Sabika Shrestha with camera person Anup Khimiri reporting for NTV World.
The newly elected government has unveiled a 100-point reform action plan following its first cabinet meeting at Singadarbar. The roadmap targets administrative clusters, prioritizing digital service delivery, anti-corruption measures, and time-bound social welfare projects. Key milestones include the removal of political groups from campuses within 60 days and the launch of province-wide blue bus services for women within 100 days. Subeksha Rajak exposed more.
In its very first cabinet decisions, the newly formed government has laid out an ambitious 100-point action plan positioned as a national to-do list to modernize governance, strengthen accountability, and simplify everyday life. Section A. At the political level, the government has committed to initiating dialogue on constitutional and electoral reforms, while also announcing a high-level probe into the September protest-related incidents within a week. It has further pledged to ensure that recommendations from past commissions are translated into action within fixed timelines. Section B. Administrative reform, reconstructing and austerity. On administrative reform, the focus is on downsizing and efficiency. The cabinet proposes to limit the number of ministries to 17, reduce bureaucratic layers. In decision-making, removing political party unions from the civil service and introduce performance-based evaluation across the civil service. Party-affiliated structures within state institutions are also set to be removed. Section C. For citizens, the plan signals changes in how public services are delivered. The government says it will establish extended hour service centers, introduce a round-the-clock grievance system, and enforce time-bound delivery of essential documents such as passport and licenses. Home delivery of official documents is also under consideration. Section D. Digital governance, data governance, and communication. A significant portion of the reform agenda centers on digital governance. This includes app-based public services, identity verification, and the creation of an integrated national data system to eliminate repetitive paperwork. New legislation on data protection and information technology is expected within the next 2 months. Section E. Good governance, transparency, and corruption control. On governance and accountability, the plan outlines stricter anti-corruption measures. A high-level mechanism has been proposed to investigate the assets of public officials alongside digital systems to track financial activity and flag irregularities. The government has also indicated safeguards for whistleblowers. Section F. Public procurement and project management reform. Public procurement and infrastructure development are another key focus. The government plans to digitize project tracking, fast-track approvals for major infrastructure, and intervene directly in projects where contractors repeatedly fail to deliver. Section Z. Investment, industry, private sector promotion, and tourism. In the economic sector, the reform package aims to improve the investment climate. Measures include faster business registration, time-bound approvals for large projects, and a unified platform to manage regulatory processes. Support mechanisms for small and medium enterprises have also been proposed. Section H. Energy and water resources. Sector-specific commitments extend to energy, revenue, and natural resources. These include plans to expand electricity exports, introduce digital tax systems, and consolidate dormant public funds for development use. Section I. Revenue reform. Sector-specific commitments extend to energy, revenue, and natural resources. These include plans to expand electricity exports, introduce digital tax system, and consolidate dormant public funds for development use. Section J. Health, education, and human development. In social sectors, the government has announced provisions for free hospital beds for low-income groups, affordable medicine programs, and reforms in education, including efforts to depoliticize campuses and ensure timely publication of results. Section K. Agriculture, land, and infrastructure. Agriculture and land reform also feature prominently. The plan includes guaranteed minimum prices for key crops, time-bound payments to farmers, and programs to provide land or housing to landless families. Section L. Other strategic and social security decisions. Additional measures include women-focused public transport services, enhanced safety mechanisms, and steps to address financial irregularities in cooperative institutions. Taken together, the 100-point agenda outlines a broad and time-bound policy direction. Its impact, however, will depend on implementation on the months ahead. The government has set clear timelines for many of these commitments, placing early focus on delivery as it begins its term.
Nepal government has prioritized administrative reforms as part of its 100-day government agenda. Key measures include reducing the number of ministries to 17, setting new service standards within 30 days, preparing a digital profile for staff management within 3 months, and introducing performance indicators to reward efficiency. Laws like the Federal Civil Service Bill will be revised within 45 days, while party-affiliated trade unions in public service will be abolished to ensure neutrality. A high-level task force will also review boards, committees and projects for potential merger or abolition. Implementation of these reforms will determine the success of the plan nationwide. In this context, we ask the public, how do you view the government's plan for swift public service delivery? Let's have a look at what they have to say in our segment Public Pulse.
मलाई त जहाँसम्म लाग्छ यो हुनुपर्ने हो किनकि अब यसले गर्दा हाम्रो टाइम पनि सेभिङ हुन्छ यसो भिडमा उभिनु परेन लाइनमा बस्यो भने आफ्नो टाइम वेस्ट पनि भइरहेको हुन्छ घरमा बस्यो भने त घरमा आइरहेको हुन्छ नि त
मलाई त एकदम राम्रो लाग्छ म फुल्ली विश्वस्त छु किनभने असम्भव भन्ने कुरा मैले देखिने यो सरकार आएपछि किनकि पहिलेको सरकारहरु आउँदाखेरि एक हप्ता त त्यो गठन भएको ती शपथहरु लगिसकेपछि फुल माला लगाउने आफ्नै धन्दामा हुन्थ्यो नि त तर अहिले त 24 घण्टा नपुग्दै जेल गए नि त यही एक्जाम्पल देखेर नै म त फुल्ली विश्वस्त छु
I take this decision very positively as us Gen Zs did not have any courier system when we were born, so I think it is a very nice way to preserve a culture and learn new things.
म यसमा विश्वस्त छु हाम्रो गाउँघरतिर एउटा उखान छ के नौली गाईले नौपुला भन्ने यो सुरुमा त यो भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ नहोस् पछि चाहिँ कार्य नै होस् भन्नेमा म एउटा आशावादी छु म विश्वस्त पनि छु कि यो सरकारले काम गर्छ भन्ने कुरामा
जब बालीले जित्नु भएन धेरै कुराहरु सुविधाहरु हुन्छ जस्तो लागेको छ मलाई चाहिँ अब पहिले केपी ओली हुँदा चाहिँ हामीले धेरै दुःख पायौ अब अहिले चाहिँ राम्रो हुन्छ जस्तो लागेको छ मलाई नयाँ पुस्तिहरुलाई पनि राम्रो हुन्छ
पहिलाको भन्दा केही न केही मात्रामा चेन्ज त भइ नै हाल्छ हैन किनभने यत्रो दुःख गरेर यत्रो उयो गरेर यस्तो राम्रो फेरि भोट पनि यति राम्रो तरिकाले आएको छ अनि क्रेज पनि छ मान्छेहरुले पनि मन पराएको छन् उनीहरुले पनि गर्न खोजेकै हो केही हुन्छ भन्ने त पक्कै पनि हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई
जनताको आँखामा छारो हान्ने काम मात्र गरेको हो कि गरेको तर त्यो हुने सम्भावना छैन हैन त्यो भन्ने मात्र हो एउटा के विकल्प एउटा के उनीहरु अब जस्तो एउटा राजनीति पोलिसी हुन्थ्यो त राजनीति पोलिसीलाई अगाडि बढ्नलाई जसले जे पनि भन्न सक्छन् नि
Well, that was a public view on the government's 100-point reform plan. To gain a closer look at the implications and challenges of the plan, we have Gen Z activist and also a law student, Mr. Majid Ansari, with us in the studio this evening. Mr. Ansari, welcome to NTV World News Hour.
Thank you.
So let's jump right into the discussion. What has your impression been so far regarding this 100-point reform governance agenda that the government has presented?
I'm quite hopeful from the 100 points agendas that the government has put forward. It was published very soon after the formation of the government, which is one of the essential criteria of transparency which we have demanded. And one thing that quite impressed me is point number 5 of the agenda, that is recognizing the historical wrongs done against Dalit community and other marginalized communities. One thing that the government has actually recognized that yes, we have made wrongs in the past and that it is a right time or it is a high time that we correct those wrongs by taking some kind of meaningful initiations. In order to make something right, you need to first recognize or identify what the wrongs has been committed. So first good thing that I think it had to be done 15 or 20 years ago when we have been successful in 10 years arms struggle and 2062 and 63 People's Revolution. With the Constitution, we have been delayed. However, it is the right time to do it as soon as possible. So it is one of the good steps. However, if you ask me in holistic term, it has failed to mention amongst 100 points, the 10 points agreement that was concluded between the representative of the Gen Z movement and the government of Nepal. This government, to a greater extent, is by default a result of that 10 points agreement, which paved the way for the new election. Before that, there was a kind of uncertainty among all stakeholders of this nation that whether the election is going to be conducted or not. We said that yes, we need fair and free election, and for that you need to create a kind of political mandate. So I think it has made good attempt in recognizing some of the great policy issues. It has categorically mentioned agendas that are really related to the governance of day-to-day life. But yeah, it would have been better if it had approved to the political agenda that the Gen Z movement wanted to establish by the 10 points agreement.
So among these 100 points, I'm sure you've had a chance to go through it.
Yes.
Which ones do you think are more feasible and more doable in your opinion, and which ones do you find they might just be limited to in writing or in paper?
Let me start with the assumption that this government is not going to promise something which is undeliverable. So I think that this government will put forward those agendas which are practical to be implemented. So I will not suspect the government at the very initial days when the government has not yet taken the vote of confidence from the House. So I think which I was pushing forward since more than 6 months, that was time-bound service delivery. And it has been mentioned particularly in point number 2 and I think point number 21 and many other points. It has categorically mentioned that we will make sure that we provide public services in time-bound arena. And it has made effort and it has given a kind of clear policy indication to the concerned ministry that you need to implement directives. And I think it has mentioned that you need to issue a regulation, which is a kind of higher law, to implement the time-bound service. And it will categorically solve the problem of, in the earlier interviews by the general people, which we saw earlier, that they used to say that why do we need to go from room number 1 to the room number 5 and then room number 5 to room number 9, 7, door by door. We need one door policy. And that will be solved by the time-bound service when the people will be aware that for this sake or for this work, which is a part of government public service delivery, it will be done within 2 days. People will be aware and they will be assured by the legal guarantee that it will be provided to you within this time frame. So it will solve the greater frustration of the people that we are unable to achieve our basic responsibility from the state, which you have charged to us in terms of it might be levy, in terms of it might be a fee, in terms of it might be tax. It has to be delivered on time. And when you deliver some public services on time, it will leave no room for the corruption, because it is the frustration which is created by the delays, and it is the delays that paved way from the corruption for the public official. If we are able to connect that public service delivery with one door policy, and if it is implemented effectively by implementing a one door system of data which is integrated and which can be exchanged throughout the system. But there is one problem. Going through the 100 points, I'm unable to find that how will we be going to protect the data and privacy of the people. We can find that we will exchange the data, but what is that limit of exchange? How will you protect the privacy of the citizens? How will you protect the data of the citizen? Will it be sold, or will it be used as a tool to make surveillance among the people's day-to-day activities? Are we going to be monitored by the state authorities day by day? How are you going to protect our privacy is one of the major concerns. And I think if we implement one-door policy along with time-bound service with integrated data in good faith, to a greater extent, the urban frustration. See, if you see that the people in Kathmandu didn't come outside the street on 8th of September, not because of they don't have accessible road, but because of they don't have accessible public service. So I think this will solve to a greater extent to the urban problem. And for a rural problem, we need to find a kind of alternative ways, because we have lack of internet accessibility there. But if you ask me what are the agendas which has capacity to be limited into the paperwork, one will be, I think, suppressing the ideology. I think restricting the political affiliation inside the universities or inside the colleges, because you cannot restrict people to hold an ideology. It is the same country in which Mahendra tried to suppress that ideology. Mahendra could not suppress them. Mahendra tried to suppress Nepali Congress, the then Marxist-Leninist or Communist Party of Nepal, but he could not suppress the then Nepali Student Union or ANNFSU, you say. And we have landmark decision of Supreme Court in year 2028, which is Yagyamurti Banjade, which said that you cannot arrest people based on their ideology, and you cannot restrict people to hold their ideology. So I think this will be quite depressing for people who believe in freedom of opinion, or who believe in political freedom. Or
so, Ms. Ansari, one last question just to wrap everything up. What are your thoughts? Our new government has just started its work for the past 2 days. So what are your thoughts regarding that, especially regarding the arrest warrant and the subsequent proceedings of former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli and former Home Minister Ramesh Lekhak?
Yes, it had to be done. The government has done a great job by trying to, or by attempting to making them criminally liable for the abuse of force, which was used by the then political leadership, who used to believe that, yes, since we have killed many people in Madhes movement, it is right time that we can kill the people in Kathmandu street as well. No, this is not going to be continued in the Federal Democratic Republic of Nepal. You will be held liable. I think the government has done good job, but we cannot compromise the procedural fairness. You have seen that emergency warrant has been issued, but this arrest warrant will be challenged before the Supreme Court by habeas corpus. So it is the consideration of Honorable Supreme Court. I will not be commenting on this particular issue, but what I will try to say that do it. It is a very good job, but do not compromise the fundamental freedom and do not compromise the rule of law, due process. And I request this government that issue the report of Lal Commission. It will serve to a greater extent to address what kind of historical injustice that we have done, that we are getting or we are witnessing police abuse right now. So I think publishing those reports will serve this.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ansari, for joining us for this session this evening.
Thank you for inviting.
Thank you. So that was Gen Z activist and law student Mr. Majid Ansari joining us in studio live. And this wraps up our issue of the day. Nepal has launched a nationwide crackdown on online betting, warning that rising digital gambling among the youth is driving debt, mental stress, and family conflicts. Authorities say illegal betting apps will be blocked, with telecom and internet providers ordered to support enforcement. While officials frame the move as part of broader regulation, concerns still persist that users could evade restrictions using VPNs or alternative platforms. We explore this in our cover story segment after this break.
Music, dance, food, art and devotion are the lifeblood of Newar culture, an ancient civilization rooted in the Kathmandu Valley of Nepal. With lively festivals nearly every fortnight, the Newars celebrate life through a rich tapestry of traditions known as Jatra.
Welcome back. You're watching NTV World News Hour. Now it's time for our cover story segment. Nepal has launched a sweeping crackdown on online betting, warning that a surge in digital gambling among young people is fueling debt, mental stress, and family conflict. Authorities say all illegal betting apps will be blocked as part of a broader effort to regulate the sector, but concerns remain over enforcement, with users potentially bypassing restrictions through VPNs and new platforms. Aprila Kesinglama, along with Samriddhi Karki, brings a report.
The government says the rapid rise of online betting among young people is creating serious financial and social problems, with many falling into debt. In response, authorities have stepped up efforts to crack down on illegal betting conducted through digital platforms. Officials say no such apps will be allowed to operate within Nepal. They add that this move is not just about banning apps, but part of a broader effort to regulate and curb unlawful betting activities across the country. It also has been stressed online betting leads to mental stress, family conflicts, and other related problems.
नेपाल सरकार सञ्चार तथा सूचना प्रविधि मन्त्रालयबाट नेपाल दूरसञ्चार प्राधिकरणलाई पत्र प्राप्त भइसकेको र त्यो तत्काल प्राप्त हुने बित्तिकै नेपाल दूरसञ्चार प्राधिकरणले त्यस्ता सट्टेबाजी एप र त्योसँग जोडिएका जुन वेबसाइटहरू छन् त्यो चाहिँ तत्काल बन्द गरेर त्यसको जानकारी नेपाल दूरसञ्चार प्राधिकरणलाई गराउनको लागि सम्बन्धित सबै मोबाइल सेवा प्रदायक र इन्टरनेट सेवा प्रदायकलाई हामीले निर्देशन अर्थात् पत्रचार गरिसकेको अवस्था हो।
The Nepal Telecommunications Authority has already issued directives to all mobile service providers and internet service providers regarding this matter. The authority has stated it will continue to closely monitor the situation and work in coordination with service providers to ensure effective implementation of the measures.
सूचना प्रविधि डाइनामिक सेक्टर हो। यसमा विभिन्न खाले चाहिँ टेक्निकहरू प्रयोग गरेर VPN लगायतका अरू टेक्निक पनि प्रयोग गरेर त्यस्ता बन्द गर्नलाई निर्देशन जारी गरेका एपहरू चल्न सक्ने भएनाले हामीले यसमा हाम्रा सेवा प्रदायकसँग भएको प्रविधि के छ त्यसलाई पनि हेरेर सेवा प्रदायकसँग क्लोज कोअर्डिनेसन गरेर त्यस्ता गैरकानुनी एपहरूलाई अर्थात् वेबसाइटलाई तत्काल चाहिँ बन्द गर्नलाई सेवा प्रदायकलाई मार्फत हामी चाहिँ कार्यान्वयनमा जान्छौँ।
However, challenges still remain for the Nepal Telecommunications Authority. There are ongoing concerns that access could continue through VPNs or new domains, keeping the risk alive. It also remains unclear whether enforcement will be sustained over the long term or weaken after the initial crackdown. With Durba Thapa on camera, a report by Iprulagi Singh Lama for NTV World.
Nepal's Home Minister Sudan Gurung has urged early preparations for disaster risk reduction ahead of the monsoon season. During an inspection of the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Authority at Singadarbar, Minister Gurung emphasized that timely measures can significantly reduce the loss of lives and property. Gurung also highlighted ongoing efforts to include disaster risk education in school curricula and called for coordinated action, stressing that no citizen should lose their life to preventable natural disasters.
डिजास्टरको लागि चाहिँ हाम्रो एटलिस्ट कलेजसम्म प्र्याक्टिकल एजुकेसन भइदियो भने हामीसँग एउटा जुन चाहिँ म्यान पावर आउँछ मेडिकल फर्स्ट रेस्पोन्डरहरू आउला त्यसमा हैन तपाईको विपदको बेलामा के गर्ने कसरी परफर्म गर्ने किन हामी त विपदमा भइराख्छौं हामी त हैन त्यतिखेर चाहिँ हामीसँग इमेजिन गर्नुस् सबै स्टुडेन्ट्सहरुले प्र्याक्टिकली यसलाई गर्न सक्यो भने हैन फर्स्ट एडहरु दिन सक्यो भने कति कुराहरु हाम्रो आफ्नो बुवा बचाउन मिल्छ होला आमा बचाउन सकिन्छ होला हैन गाउँलेहरु बचाउन सकिन्छ होला त्यो हिसाबमा यसमा पाठ्यक्रममै राख्नु पर्छ कति कुराहरु चाहिँ प्र्याक्टिकली
Nepal's Ministry of Education has ordered the closure of all entrance preparation and bridge course programs aimed at school and higher education admissions. The ministry warned that these programs negatively affect students' mental well-being, create unequal access to education, and impose unnecessary financial burdens. The decision, effective from April 14, directs all relevant authorities to enforce the ban nationwide. District administration officers have also been instructed to take legal action against any programs found operating in violation of the order. Nepali Communist Party coordinator Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda has called for an impartial investigation into UML chairman and former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli. Speaking at the NCP office in Paristada, Dahal emphasized that the probe should be free from political pressure or bias, noting that the issue of investigating former Prime Minister's assets had previously been raised in Parliament. Earlier, Dahal was unanimously elected party leader, and he used an orientation program for the newly elected MPs to stress representing the people's voice and performing their parliamentary duties responsibly. The Supreme Court of Nepal will hear a writ petition challenging the Attorney General's decision to withdraw organized crime and money laundering cases against Rashtriya Swatantra Party President Rabi Lamichhane. A full bench of justices, including Binod Sharma and Abdul Aziz Musalman, will oversee the proceedings after an earlier hearing was postponed. The cases had been withdrawn under a previous government, prompting separate petitions from senior advocates, including Yuvraj Paudel, Dinesh Tripathi and Abhas Regmi. The court is now reviewing whether the decision to drop the cases was lawful and in accordance with the proper procedure. Before we check more international updates, let's have a recap of our headlines. Nepal's former Prime Minister Oli and Home Minister Lekha granted 5-day police remand. Supreme Court to hear habeas corpus petitions Monday. Nepal's former Minister Kharka arrested in money laundering case. CIB confirms ongoing investigation into alleged financial crimes. Government launches 100-point public service reform agenda, focus on digitizing services and performance-based efficiency. Nepal cracks down on online betting nationwide, blocks illegal apps amid concerns over youth. Pakistan hosts Saudi, Turkey and Egypt foreign ministers in Islamabad. Talks aim to de-escalate Middle East war. And Army and Gandaki claim victories in PM Cup cricket. Strong performances by Kushal Malla and Trithras Das. Mass protests erupted across the United States as the third No Kings rallies targeted President Donald Trump's policies. Demonstrations were held in major cities including New York, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Boston, Nashville, and Houston, as well as smaller towns nationwide. Protesters voiced opposition to issues such as the war in Iran, federal immigration enforcement, and the rising cost of living. While several states deployed the National Guards, organizers emphasized that the events remained peaceful following previous rallies that drew millions. World Trade Organization trade ministers are nearing agreement on a major reform plan amid debates over extending a moratorium on customs duties for digital goods and downloads. Talks in Cameroon are focusing on bridging differences between the US and India as the moratorium, first adopted in 1998, is set to expire this month. The reforms also aim to increase transparency in subsidies and streamline decision-making, addressing concerns from the US and EU that China has exploited the existing rules. Daily passenger train services between China and North Korea have resumed, ending a 6-year halt caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The route from Dandong had been a key entry point for foreign visitors to North Korea before the pandemic. However, Pyongyang's strict visa rules currently limit travel to official business or special purposes, keeping ordinary tourists largely excluded. While the trains signal a tentative reopening, widespread tourism in the reclusive nation remains unlikely in the near term. We're going for another short breather here. Business updates coming up next.
Russian Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Novak has instructed the Ministry of Energy to draft a government decree to ban gasoline exports starting April 1st, 2026. The ban would remain in place until July 31st, according to TASS news agency. Following a meeting on the domestic fuel market chaired by Novak, the government said in a statement that the measure aims to stabilize prices and ensure priority supply to the domestic market. During the meeting, officials stressed the task set by Russian President Vladimir Putin to prevent domestic fuel price increases from exceeding projected levels. The Deputy Prime Minister noted that turbulence in the global oil and petroleum product market caused by the crises in the Middle East is leading to significant price fluctuations. Novak added that strong demand for Russian energy resources in foreign markets remains a positive factor.
Time now for sports update. FIFA President Gianni Infantino inaugurated a football history exhibition in Mexico City, celebrating the sport's heritage and global impact. In his speech, Infantino paid tribute to players of the 1971 Women's World Cup, a tournament not officially recognized by FIFA, highlighting their role in advancing women's football. The exhibition features rare memorabilia, photographs, and historical artifacts documenting football's evolution, honoring both celebrated and overlooked figures. Infantino urged continued support for the growth of football worldwide, with a special focus on women's participation. Now the weather updates, first from across Nepal and then from across the world. This brings us to the end of this edition of the News Bulletin. But before we wrap up, a quick reminder of our headlines. Nepal's former Prime Minister Oli and Home Minister Lekha granted 5-day police remand. Supreme Court to hear habeas corpus petitions Monday. Nepal's former Minister Kharka arrested in money laundering case. CIB confirms ongoing investigation into alleged financial crimes. Government launches 100-point public service reform agenda focused on digitizing services and performance-based efficiency. Nepal cracks down on online betting nationwide, blocks illegal apps amid concerns over youth. Pakistan hosts Saudi, Turkey and Egypt foreign ministers in Islamabad. Talks aim to de-escalate Middle East war. And Army and Gandaki claim victories in PM Cup cricket. Strong performances by Kushal Malla and Thrithiraj Das. That is all for the moment for this edition of NTV World News Hour. Do join us for our social media and get the latest updates from our official website at nepaltelevision.com. I am Vijata Bhandari. Thank you for watching. Good night.